Spider-Man fans, swing on over here because you're not going to want to miss this. Everyone, please give a big, huge San Diego Comic-Con welcome to the writer behind Amazing Spider-Man, Zeb the Zamboni World! How does it feel to continue now 20 plus years writing Spider-Man stories?
It's an honor and a privilege, and it's weird to know that you're at the pinnacle of what you'll do in the industry, because it won't get better than this. Because it won't get better than this. Because it won't get better than this.
You serious?
All right, let's do this one last time.
There had been, sort of a suggested 6 months of him just being depressed and not doing too much Spider-Manning, everyone being upset with him, and him not being in a mood to mend fences.
Real quick, can you tease about Kamala's role in this series coming up?
She will play a big part in Dark Web, and then we have big plans for her in the second year of Amazing Spider-Man.
It finally feels like it's all about to go wrong for Norman in that last page.
Yeah, he's having a hard time, and I think that was the challenge. Can we get it to a place where not only is it surprising if he does go back, but people are bummed?
Yeah, so we have Ben Reilly, who has gone to the villainous side as Chasm, and he's coming back for a little bit of revenge on Peter Parker.
He hated me with a passion. This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot. It gets worse.
What are you most excited for fans to see in upcoming issues of Amazing Spider-Man?
How Spider-Man gets in his bad mood at the beginning of Spider-Man's first hunt, I really am excited for people to see.
And now it's just, how does everything we've set up play out? And that is always really fun, because you have just a bunch of balls in the air, and it's fun to see how many of them you can land and stick the landing on.
Wait! I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought
no
it
way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so
Out.
sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him, burned and we'll
I don't
execute
even
and
know who
burned.
that guy is.
Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
Okay, OBS, maybe you don't want to work with me today, and you don't want to auto-transition after the intro, and you want to mute me before I start talking. We're off to a great start this week, aren't we, guys? We're just 50 episodes in, and I still cannot get my technological poop together. But besides that, what is going on, everybody? It is a Friday evening here in the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful world we live in, and I am back. We are here. It is another episode of The Good, the Mad, the Ugly. As I noted a second ago, and as I noted in the intro, we are at 50 episodes. Guys, that's honestly pretty impressive for any endeavor, whether it's a comic book, a TV show, whatever. I'm personally pretty stoked that I made it this far, that we made it this far, that you guys have all joined me in this journey to where we are right now. It's been wild. So normally, just to take care of business at the top, normally, right, lots of people, if it's a 50th anniversary or like a 50 show or whatever, low audio again? What the hell? Like I said, Timon, everything just does not want to, everything wants to boomer it up for me today. So here, I'm going to try boosting that. Hopefully that'll hold. It's still looking like it's kind of low. So we'll boost it up even more. Okay, that might even be a little loud, but we'll see. We'll see. You guys can all let me know how it goes as we go on. So, as I was saying, yes, normally when somebody has 50 issues or 50 episodes, they do something nice for it. They do a special, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, as you can tell, we're still running with the same setup here. We are still The only real difference is that I used the Wells video twice in a row because honestly, guys, I love that video so much. It makes me so happy to just give what am I trying to say? Like a perfect 2-minute summary of what went wrong with Wells's run, and then just to see his confidence in how good it's going to be. It's absolutely, I love it so much that I had to use it again. But more to the point, yes, everything here is still the same. Nothing has really changed. You guys do know that I have been promising you for a couple weeks now, a couple shows now, that I was going to redo the layout, update it, upgrade it, all that fun stuff. I think we are still doing that. I'm still working on that on the back end, but I decided that instead of doing it for episode 50, to keep it sort of on the nerdy comic book theme, keep it kind of relevant to myself, I've decided that we'll roll that out on the 52nd episode. So we'll go full 52 on everything. We'll talk it out. You'll see a new layout there. And yeah, so that's why everything looks the same here. But all that sort of shop talk aside, we are here tonight on a kind of a, honestly, guys, kind of a slower week. I don't know about you guys, but I feel nothing really major happened this week, as you all know. And in light of that nothing major happening, I feel like there really hasn't been a lot of news, at least in our sphere around here. We've gotten a couple announcements here and there, a couple of obvious hot takes in light of the election. But it feels like it's a very, very slower week. That also has to do with the fact that I talked comic books already last night with Andrew over on Foil Variant. Go check that out. Go subscribe over there. And so, yeah, honestly, guys, tonight, I am a little not put together. There's a lot of bounding work I have to do. I've been busy with errands all day, so I've been sort of running all over the place. And I bring this up because in light of the nothing happening and in light of my being busy, I'm not going to lie. Before we went live, I was struggling to think about what are we going to talk about tonight? What is there to even discuss? I even considered just making this into a gaming stream because there have been so few big stories to talk about. But at the last minute, I remembered, you know what? Even despite that, there are some news stories. You know, obviously, MultiVersus is something we're going to talk about in a second. There is the whole rigmarole with Japan and the credit card payment processors. There is a little Marvel Comics update that I just want to rant about for a second. So there's all this sort of stuff. There are things to talk about, but more to the point, tonight, guys, I'm gonna put out a special request and say I'm looking to you all for topics. So you guys know that on this show, it's more of an open forum than it is me just talking at you guys. So with that said, feel free to drop any topics you guys would like to talk about, anything that has crossed your mind, any sort of thing like that, because genuinely, we're a little light on stories today. So that being said, let's get into what stories we do have. But before we get into the stories, let's say hello to the chat. Guess whose thing screwed up again? So I missed like the first 5 comments, but we have Andrew in the chat saying gay, and Corey follows that up with make Mav straight again. Impossible. That's never happening. I'm too flowery and rainbowy to be straight again. So, and yes, Andrew pointed it out. My stream, when the stream went live, it was set for an hour before. And that also relates to another reason why I'm sort of so frazzled this week, is that in America, this past Sunday, we got out of daylight savings time. I only remember the mnemonic device, the spring forward, fall back. I don't remember which one it is, like going in or coming out of it. But essentially, all of our time zones change. They go back by an hour, and or let me rephrase that. In America, when you hit daylight savings time, all of our time zones, we set our clocks back an hour or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's getting out of it or going into it. In November, we set our clocks back an hour. Except in the state of Arizona, where I live. My time stays the same year round. So I have been trying to adjust schedules like, oh yeah, now things happen later and they happen earlier. It's all over the place. So I've been just like tonight I set the time obviously for 5:15, which is what when we normally go live in Pacific time, but I'm not in Pacific time anymore. So I had to go, oh, that's right. It's going to be 6 o'clock my time. So it's just all over the place. It genuinely throws me for a loop because it's not as easy as just going, oh yeah, hour back. So yes, all of that I hope provides some context as to why it seems like my energy or the show running tonight is a little off base. Let's see. We've also got Zero, who was the one who he did ping me. He did let me know. So thank you for that, amigo. If you guys were here in the intro, you definitely already saw our boy Timon was here booing Zeb Wells. The good news is for both you and Zero, he is gone. He's not here anymore. We never have to deal with him again. Okay. Here's something. I need to run to the bathroom real quick. So if you guys can clearly tell, my hair keeps falling down on my face and I look dumb and I look like a boy trying to be a man. So I need to run and just throw my hair up real quick. But I don't want to leave you guys just staring at an empty chair. I'm not XQC. So what video can I play for you guys really, really quick while I go do this? Shave what? Shave my head? Honestly, that would be nice. I haven't done that in a long time, but next summer when summer hits in Arizona, I think I might be going for it. So, oh man, Andrew, you don't even have any fun videos up right now. Is there a Bloodruth trailer? Let's see if there's a Bloodruth trailer. Oh yeah. All right. So, cool. I will play this for you guys. It should last just as long as I go to the bathroom. But where were we? Let's go to our web window. I'm going to play this trailer for Bloodruth #1. Obviously, shout out to my boy Andrew. Shout out to the Rippaverse. Check it out. It's on pre-order right now. I will be back in 2 seconds. If not, you will have to see, as you can see, this is on loop. You might have to see the Saskas like twice. But hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. So give me 1 second, guys. Oh man, that's an old trailer. My bad. That's what happens when you just pick out things from the history. Muted? I'm not muted. Oh, the desktop audio's. Why is that? What the hell is going on with my StreamYard? I don't know why that happened. What in the hell is happening over on my OBS? Good Lord. I am so sorry for whatever just happened there, guys. Is that going to happen again? Holy moly. Genuinely cannot tell you what. Yeah, no, Timon, I'm right there. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I am super. Yeah, no, I don't know, guys. I'm getting it on my end too, right? Like, I hit play on the audio over here, and it just goes, it redlines down here in the OBS studio. So no idea what is going on with this. It's probably better than that we'll hop away from them. We'll pull up a story to talk about, and we'll just hang out here. We'll talk Stream Buddy and everything. But man, genuinely don't know what the hell was up with that. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, Corey. Yeah, Corey says, I was wondering where that was coming from. Got 3 streams up. Dude, I was wondering where that was coming from. It genuinely felt, yeah. First of all, Shinkai is here. What's up, Shinkai? Yeah, that's what I literally felt like I was being screeched at by like a ghost. I had this split second of like, what reality am I living in? Like, what is happening? And so, totally apologize for that, guys. That was super weird. No idea what happened. Hopefully, once the new layout comes in, since I'll be rebuilding it essentially from scratch, all of this will be fixed. I'll be able to go in and tag everything. So bear with us, and I'm so sorry. But hey, an eventful stream, right? Now we all have a story that we can all of us, all 7 of us who are here can share. Also forgot to say hello to Tehillim, who's shalom, and good to see you all. I didn't say hi to him because he came in right when the world was ending there. We also have freaking Punk. What's going on, buddy? A pleasure to hang out with you again. I know you're hanging out with us for foil variant. Always great to see you. Very jealous that you have the your weekend is starting and you can grab a beer. If you guys know me, not only am I doing the stream, but after this I got to jump off and do more bounding work. So maybe I'll get a break tomorrow, but we will see. Yes. To that, yeah. Let me do this proper because I screwed that up so bad. Let's go to collections. So, as you guys saw, that was the trailer for an old release trailer, teaser trailer for the newest Rippaverse book, Bloodruth #1, written by the Saskas, drawn by Michael Montanat. It is up for pre-order right now over on the Rippaverse website. Comes in the standard 4 cover offerings, one of them being a beautiful foil embossed one. Also, a special offering they're doing with this particular book. They are doing a black and white version, only 15 bones. Pick it up. It's going to look fantastic. If you're anything like me, and I will speak for Andrew, you probably love seeing the actual like penciling, detail work of, pre-color work of all of comic book art and stuff. So definitely a cool thing to check out. Check it out now. Pre-orders are open. Don't know why the first link to come up in my history was the old announcement thing, but there we are. So go check out Bloodruth. Saskas, I'm really, really sorry for blowing that trailer spot, and hopefully that does not affect your sales. Let's see. Andrew says, a break, you have to work to get a break. I work too much. These streams, foil variant and good map ugly, are technically my breaks during the week. Otherwise, I am like locked into my keyboard doing graphic design work, writing work, editing work, blah 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 blah. Corey says, I pre-ordered me a copy. Go pre-order 7. Go pre-order 9 and donate 5 of them to your local library. Or, I don't know, just keep 4 of them for yourself because you can at least get 4 different variants. Andrew says, thanks for the shut the hell up. What are you even doing here? What is this? Thanks for the shout out. As if we're not like friends and talk about this every day. And it was just, be quiet. Sit down. Get out of my face. All right. Timon, that's so funny. Every Brazilian boy shaved his heads in the 90s at least once. Guess why? I have no idea about Brazilian culture, but I guarantee you the second you tell me why, I'm going to be like, yep, of course. That makes total sense. Let's see. We have Zero here saying, to be honest, there's not a lot to talk about this week. Square reported game sales down. Alyssa Mercante left Kotaku and might be heading to... So I don't care about Alyssa. You guys know this. I genuinely... How far? We're 20 minutes in. I genuinely do not give a shit about online drama. About people who continually egg each other on, who report on each other's tweets all day. It's so childish, and I prefer to grade people on their actions and their work and things that we can actually tangibly point to and like argue against, rather than just go, oh, look at dumb lady, right? Like that's the stuff. Mark Kern does it. Smash JT does it. It's too childish. And at this point, going, haha, look, she's gone. It's just, okay, she's gone. What do I care? I don't read Kotaku. I don't support her work. Good, whatever. Let her go. Let her go into irrelevance. That's what a lot of people need to realize, is that so many of the bad faith actors in our various spheres, whether you're a video game player, a comic book reader, and on either side of the spectrum, whether you're more left-leaning or more right-leaning, the worst actors out there, they only remain relevant because people keep giving them attention. Nobody, like every time I see an article come up about Alyssa, I just go, who cares? Or a tweet, really. It's only one website. Well, it was that Park Place, but with their recent change in editorialship, it's going to be Fandom Pulse now. Good luck with that. But You know, when they would write articles about Alyssa, or when somebody would make a big tweet storm about, look at what Alyssa's doing now, I just don't care. What does it benefit anybody to constantly hound someone and catalog their every movement to try and milk it for content? It's just, do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel like you're doing anything when you do that? I don't think so. So I genuinely don't give a shit about Alyssa. I don't give a shit about Kotaku. This is a point. I don't know if we talked about it back when it was all going down, but in recent months, right? We've seen a lot of people, particularly in our sphere, sort of make review scores a battleground again. Right? A lot of people going, why didn't you give Stellar Blade this? Why didn't you give that game that? Look, you gave this, just a lot of that kind of shit. And I don't care about websites like that. Like, I don't care about people's reviews that deeply because it's the outlook of a single individual. Oftentimes it's like, if you're like, a lot of people go, oh, look, IGN, you rated this game an 8 and you rated, I don't know, Hogwarts Legacy like a 5. It's like, okay, but it's also two different people. What are you saying here? It's just like, you can't say, oh, look, Bounding into Comics, you're super proto-Christian, and because that's Jacob, but that's not me. You know what I mean? So it's just churning the water over Kotaku and drama and Alyssa and all this stuff. It's just crybaby internet blood sports for no end, right? At the worst thing, or I don't even know where I was going with that one. I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, I don't care about them. I don't care about the mainstream media. A long time ago, back when I was a kid, and this is what gets me. I feel like when I was younger, when we were all younger, there was a sizable recognition that review scores and awards, like industry awards, like Oscars and stuff, were nothing. Like, they didn't matter. I feel like we all learned years ago that the Oscars aren't necessarily a real test of quality, but how good people can schmooze and, get votes from people. If you guys know anything about the Oscars, the voting isn't even direct. You do like, it gives it in like ranking order. It's really complicated. It's not as straightforward as you would think. And same with review scores. We all sort of realized a long time ago, oh, these publications, they have a bias, especially places like GameSpot or whatever. So it's just very bizarre to me that now it's all coming back. Now we all of a sudden care about review scores. We care about what films get nominated for Oscars. Like, to me, it's really, 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 really reaching for something to be upset about, because none of this is new. This is all stuff we learned to move on, deal with years ago. And so all the people going, oh, look at it now, they're just children. Like, it's genuinely bonkers. So many of my favorite video games, movies, television shows, whatever, like any medium I enjoy, some of my favorite productions were either critically panned or they didn't, get that great of reviews. But at the end of the day, guys, none of that matters, because your personal enjoyment of something is personal. If you like something, you like something. If you don't like something, you don't like something. So trying to go out there and battle as if giving your favorite video game a 9 out of 10 is really going to change anybody's opinion or do anything, it very much feels like, to me, like people, I touched on it a second ago, people just want to fight. They're really in this, like, I need to crusade. I need to, fight back. So they'll just look at any sort of avenue to attack people on. And it's just bonkers, right? It's just, like, for example, one of my favorite games of all time is Infamous for being reviewed poorly by IGN. God Hand by Capcom back in like 2005. That beat 'em up, I think it got like a 3 because the IGN reviewer didn't like it. They couldn't handle it. They just didn't vibe with it. Fine, whatever. I love that game. So many people love that game. And that reviewer's quality, like, that review has no impact on my enjoyment of it. I don't sit here and go, man, I really like this game, but the fact that other people don't, I really need to get on their asses about that. So, yeah, I just for future reference for all of you guys out there, I don't care about this shit at all. If you guys want to talk about it, there are like 9,000 different channels that will talk about the latest tweets from, the opposition. It's just not going to be me. Our lives are too short, and there's way too much other real stuff to talk about, fun stuff to talk about, that I'm not dedicating my time to this. That's right. Yeah, that's right, Renault. Okay, yeah. All right, you hit me, Timon. That is exactly why everybody shaved their head. That makes total sense. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. I could not possibly give half a shit less about that twat or the drama at this point. It's exhausting. It does nothing but inflate egos. It's dumb. Yeah, exactly, Shinkai. Basically, the Robot Chicken sketch of Batman v Superman, Batman not giving a fuck. Like, that's completely, yeah, right. Yeah, like, but so that's another good, like, that's also a good point, right, Zero? There's also Dragon Age Veilguard, but who in their sane mind would talk about that cringe fest outside of farming for content? Exactly. What is left to say about that game? We all know it's awful. The real news that comes next, in the next entry into this story of Dragon Age Veilguard should theoretically be financial statements, sales numbers, and the post-launch interviews that we normally would already be getting from the dev team. So, and also just on a side note, and this is just personal, I'm not a Dragon Age fan. I think I told you guys this, and I've tried to make it very clear in my articles on it and when I'm on the Bounding stream. I've just never been into it. So, you know what? I will give you guys this. I've not been a Dragon Age fan. I played like one of them. I'm not a sword and sorcery guy. Whatever. If you guys really want a good look into the game from a fan's perspective, in the coming days or weeks at least, my boys Marvin the Movie Monster and Kevin Apollo, both over at Tooneytown TV, they are playing it right now, and they are huge Dragon Age fans. And so they're going to go through and they're going to break it down. I think we're going to have some content on that game place. So check that out when it drops. But yeah, I don't really, what I will say about Veilguard is that, sorry, guys, there's something in my teeth. I felt it right before I started talking again. There is, let me see if I can find this really quick, because man, where is there is a clip on of Spider. So there, okay, if you guys remember, there is this clip of a reviewer. Man, I feel like I'm blowing this. I feel like if I describe the clip, it would underserve everything. There, I fucking found it. Thank you, Google Foo. Oh no, I don't. I just found one guy referencing it. I was gonna say, like, I need like a mind plug into Twitter, but I'm like, I don't want that. I am insane for even suggesting that. Here we go. So if you guys have seen the Veilguard stuff, a lot of the biggest here, I'm going to just pull up a different visual because we don't need to taint Bloodroot's success with this awful talk about what I'm about to bring up. Oh my, I am not even searching things right. Why would I type into Bounding YouTube? That's just, we're dumb here, guys. We're dumb here. So let's bring this story up. As I said, I'm not a Dragon Age fan. So this isn't going to be a discussion about Dragon Age lore or what Bio did right, what BioWare did wrong this time around. Like I said, Kevin Apollo, Marvin the Movie Monster, those are your boys to handle it out. What I want to bring up about this, though, is that this Veilguard discourse really highlights something that's wrong with modern entertainment in general, not just video games. So, just got to pull down Zero's comment here. Actually, before we get into this, let's close out the Kotaku drama talk, because I know a lot of you guys have comments about it in the chat, so let's check that out. Well, first off, we got Reeve. What's going on, Reeve? Always a pleasure to see you. Yeah, exactly, Shinkai. Oscars can be a big brown nose That's basically all they are. If you guys go and read sort of any recap of like an actor or a director or a studio executive's interaction with the awards processes, whether they be Oscars or Golden Globes or whatever, it's just campaigning. It's just like a presidential campaign. There's no, like, for example, you guys know this, when they make the ads for the Oscars, they go, for your consideration. They're saying, they're campaigning. They're saying, for your, like, consider this one, come over here, give your time to this movie. There's no, this is what really bothers me about the Oscars voting process, is that the voters are not obligated to watch anything. So that's why a lot of times you see, for example, when it comes to best animated movie, we might get something like Into the Spider-Verse one year, but whatever Disney drops out will easily sweep it because the voters are going, what is it? I don't know animated stuff. Okay, a Disney movie, I recognize that one. Maybe I took my kids to see it. Sure, drop that in. So it's not, and then when the voters have all the movies, they don't go, oh, here are the 10 movies we are putting up for Best Picture. Please watch them and then submit your vote. There's no requirement like that. They will send you screeners. For example, Mavlor, one of my uncles is an actor, a director. He doesn't do it anymore, but he did have a fledgling Hollywood career at one point. And so he still gets, he's still on the Academy voting board because you just need to be in the industry to do it. It's not like a special position. And so he gets screeners all the time for whatever movie is coming up, right? So they mail him nice little DVD, Blu-rays in a nice case with some marketing material. He doesn't watch them. In fact, he just goes and he's like, hey, who wants them? Like, who wants to, like I don't need these. So it is not a true award ceremony where you're looking at stats and you're looking at performance. It's how recognized is this movie? How well did it is a popularity contest. That's namely all it is. So, and not just the Oscars, like that's everything, guys. Like the Game Awards are the same thing. Andrew says it's reaching for something to be upset about and reaching for something to say without saying anything of substance because that requires intellectual effort. Agreed. At this point, it's just when people go to the well of let's look at what, the crazy people on the other side are doing. It's not adding anything to the conversation. It's just throwing meat to the wolves. It's very easy to get, or rather than wolves, let's say sharks. It's like throwing blood and chum into the waters to get sharks all a tizzy because it's easy. You know that people will react to it. But if you notice when people bring up, let's say, again, people go after Alyssa, they don't say anything. They don't criticize her in a way that's like, oh, you should be doing this or this is what you're doing wrong. It's just, ha, so dumb, right? And to me, I know, look, guys, in recent weeks, I've been made very, very aware that, I mean, we all know this here hanging out at Good Mav Ugly and stuff, but you guys know me. I am more of the, I don't want to say liberal. That feels like the wrong word, but I have a higher tolerance for a lot of things than other people. So things like, I don't agree with just calling everything woke. I don't agree with writing things off just by looking at the cover. And to my point, I genuinely feel like too much of this specific stuff, like, tracking or observing what other people are doing, it's just bullying at this point. Is Alyssa stupid? Is she insane? Is she actively harming or lowering the quality of conversation in video games? Yes, 100%. I am not a fan of her, and I genuinely wish she would either find more integrity or sort of go to another sphere altogether where I don't personally have to deal with her. But that doesn't change the fact that when you just go, haha, look at her, look at this, it's just bullying at this point. And that to me is like, you guys all crap your pants over the industry supposedly, or not supposedly, but you guys crap your pants over the industry blacklisting and taking hard stances against people with even center-right viewpoints. Now you're just doing the exact same thing, but it's okay because your side is doing it. I don't stand for that hypocrisy. Just absolutely not. Oh no, Timon's testing. It looks like YouTube's doing this thing. YouTube's been doing this thing for a week now, or maybe two, where it won't let certain accounts comment. If you guys remember last week, Tevya was here. We were talking about Zeb Wells' Spider-Man. They had to log into their alternate account. Over on that game place this week, we had a couple users who had to jump over to alternate accounts to comment. So it's not happening on my end, guys. It's not OBS. It is clearly something going on with YouTube. My tinfoil hat is that it likely has something to do with whatever algorithmic change they did ahead of the election. But I don't know. That's speculation, but sucks to hear. Glad you're back with us, though, Timon. Shinkai says, speaking of personal enjoyment, finally saw Transformers 1 and the Magic Treehouse movie. Really enjoyed them. Surprisingly, the Magic Treehouse movie more. I didn't even know there was a Magic Treehouse movie. That's crazy. I loved those books as a kid. Is it CG? Is it live action? This is the first I'm ever hearing of it. In regards to Transformers 1, it's a good movie. It's beautiful. I really like the animation and art direction in that movie is top notch and just absolutely gorgeous. The plot itself, I know a lot of people are praising the plot. It just felt a little generic to me, right? Like I've seen lower class uprise against, their tyrannical ruler who's lied to them, and then the two leaders, clash. I've seen it before. I mean, hell, that's the core of Transformers. So I enjoyed it, but I'm not on the train of like, this movie was fantastic. Awards. Maybe I need to rewatch it again. I will admit that I was kind of tired when I watched it the first time, but still, it just felt like a miss to me. But it's still good. It's still beautiful. I would still recommend everybody go watch it. It is definitely a production worth your money. I want to live in the world where the Magic Treehouse movie got Fast and Furious amounts of sequels. That's what the books are, right? It's like Magic Treehouse goes to Camelot. Magic Treehouse goes to Egypt. I want more of those. Like, I am of the opinion that where we are now in entertainment and media creation, the best option for franchises and IPs to keep going is anthologize it. How awesome would it be if damn it, I had a really good example. But DC, right? You want to do 4 different interpretations of the Joker? Okay. Make a, The Man Who Laughs, and it's an anthology movie series. And you have 4 Jokers, but you establish right at the top, this isn't a big, long franchise continuity thing. We want to just tell individual stories. Essentially, give the Animatrix and Batman The Legend of the Dark Knight and Green Lantern Emerald Knights, those were animated projects that were collected together under a very loose-fitting story banner, but featured 8 different segments that had different stories, different animators, and all that. I think that would be an amazing way to go about that. And to this, Shinkai, the reason I bring it up is because I think Magic Treehouse would be perfect for that. I mean, they're one-off vignette adventures. You don't need to have we need the Infinity Treehouses because there's the Thanos Treehouse is coming, in 7 years or anything like that. You can just do very simple hour-and-a-half adventures where they go to different settings that you go sort of all out in the set production on. That would be really awesome. Timon says, I stopped reading IGN for their 9.5 of Final Fantasy 13. Right? But that sort of gets to my point, right, Timon? It's yeah, that's dumb. They gave Final Fantasy 13 a 9.5. When you drop an opinion like that, why should I ever, going forward, listen to your opinion? And it's not like outlets giving games ridiculously high or ridiculously low scores is new, right? I mean, just in our discussion, God Hand was 20 years ago when that was all going down. And again, that was generation 4, 5, whatever the PS2 was. So it's been happening. It will continue to happen. It just is unfathomable to me to give any review score more attention and more reaction than sort of that's dumb. And maybe you share it with your friends and you go, get a load of this guy, Cam. Bingo. People's reasoning can be stupid for why they don't like something, but our enjoyment is not predicated on that. So many people, I feel like, I don't know if this is sort of a unfortunate case of sort of a widespread arrested development where people just can't enjoy something unless it gets mass approval. But maybe it's because I'm a pretentious little snot, or because I grew up as a nerd and thus all the stuff I enjoyed was unpopular. The baseball teams, the football teams I am a fan of are unpopular. So much of the shit I like is by and large unpopular, that I learned a long time ago. If you like what you like, and like it, right? I mean, yeah, like I don't really have anything to add to that. Just if you like something, you like something. Don't let any other people's opinions sour you if you enjoy something, right? For example, I am a big fan right now of the Peach Momoko Ultimate X-Men series. I gush about it all the time. I buy all the design covers. I regularly share pages from her work. On the other hand, my boy Andrew, love him to death, one of my closest friends, he has zero interest in it. Every time I bring it up, he's sort of just like, good for you, buddy, right? But like he's talked to me about it. He's like, Peaches, he likes, or he's like, I can admire Peaches' like quality of work, but it's just not my jam. And also the story setting was just not his jam. So he's not into it. But that doesn't mean, like, I don't go to him and go, oh, hey, X-Men, oh, okay, oh, yeah, I don't like it now. I just go, that sucks. I wish you did like it, but I'm over here. This shit rule, right? Like, it doesn't affect our friendship. It doesn't speak to you as a quality of a person. It's just differences, taste. There's nothing wrong with that. So to make mountains out of molehills and battlegrounds out of all of this stuff, this is the problem, is that so many of these topics that are made into battlegrounds can easily be flipped on the people calling them out, right? So, like, oh, you guys reviewed Dragon Age, or you guys reviewed, let's say, I'm just going to pull out games. I don't know review scores, so I'm just making up. I'll just use fake game names, in fact, right? Oh, you guys gave Kamen Rider 7 a 3.5. You guys are the worst. Rabble, rabble, rabble. They could turn around and go, well, you guys didn't give Lost Crown a chance, and that's an actually good game. So you guys are just as, ideological as we are. It's that is something that bugs me so much with our current round of discourse, is when people go, oh, you guys use this tactic, now I'll use this tactic, I'll get in the dirt with you, I'll be just as shitty as you were. It doesn't improve things, and it also just gives the opposition ammunition to use against you. And that's just bad war strategy, right? You should ideally be looking to plug up all of your defenses while also launching an effective counterattack. I'll give a personal example here. With bounding, it would be very easy for me to go out and write like, holy shit, did you guys, like, this is so stupid, this is so bad, this is so whatever adjective. And I could just go into, wow, what are these people on, yada, yada, yada. But in doing so, if I write an article like that, that's just me regurgitating, grums or something and attacking the other side. Well, now they can turn around, and instead of actually engaging with any real points I have, they can go, oh, look, why should we pay attention to him? Because he did this, right? He did that. He did X. He was disingenuous. He was dishonest. He insulted us instead of giving us a fair shake. That's easy. Those are easy things for people to go, yeah, that's why you shouldn't listen to them. This is why you dismiss it. If you take an approach that sort of not necessarily sands down the edges, but keeps the contents of your Trojan horse, or not even Trojan horse, just the contents of your campaign clear, that makes it less easy for people to dismiss them, right? So if somebody goes, oh, look at this article, somebody could go, oh, that's from that one website where, they think all gay people should be executed. You don't need to listen to them. And that will send a lot of people to go, oh God, no, never mind. Yeah, they're crazy. But if, for example, if you shared something from Bounding, somebody might go, I don't know about that. They go, well, but look, you have to look at his points. He cited everything. He gave fair credence to what you guys were saying. You have to engage with my points because I'm not going to give you an opening to just dismiss us. And the more you're forced to engage, or the more the opposition realizes they can't just toss us aside, the more ground we gain, and the more people are going to start listening to us. And yes, it's very easy to throw chum into the water for the people who are already on our sides, but it's about communicating to the people who maybe don't get our side or don't understand our side or don't even know that there are sides to be taken. It's about communicating with them and not just insulating yourself into me, my community. We're the only ones right. Everybody go away. Let's see. Yep, I'm right there with you, punk. Hate drama. Zero and Timon are saying IGN for guides, Neo Seeker for guides. Boys, I still use Game Facts, all right? Game FAQs, however you want to pronounce it. That, for me, is still the king guide website because no images, no ads, no articles. You literally just go to a games page. It says guides, cheats, and there's like a discussion board. And it's all text. It's bring me back to the simplicity of the early 2000s. Yeah, Zero, we'll talk about that stuff later. I mentioned that at the top of the show. Reeve says, you know what would make BioWare money? A legendary collection like for Mass Effect with Dragon Age. Here's the problem, and Andrew agrees with you. The same level of visual and mechanical upgrades, that would be a huge sell. I don't know if you guys saw this, but here, I can actually pull it up. Dragon Age. So you guys aren't going to get that anytime soon because according to a dev who is still at BioWare, nobody there knows how to use the engine the game was built on. So right now, they would have to essentially rebuild it from scratch. So I bring that up. My takeaway from this little bit of information is not only sucks for Dragon Age fans, like genuinely, like that's a bummer, but this is an example of the industry brain drain in action, right? Over the past few years, we've seen layoff after layoff after layoff hit the video game industry. And while some of them make sense and some of them are understandable out of studios or development teams that did not handle business correctly, a lot of them have sort of been unfortunate casualties of the pandemic era desire to exponentially grow. Things like Tango Gameworks, who just released, there was somebody who just released a game and like right before the game came out, they all got, it was like a remaster or a remake. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Cause that one was like, wow, you didn't even give them any time to celebrate or promote, their work. Let's see, Bounding, go to video games, but more to the point, while I search for this over here is the brain drain happens when you just fire everybody because you spend too much money and then you go, oh crap, we've got to, find a way to stay financially stable. And so you cut and cut and cut. Great, you saved money, but now nobody is around who understands the storylines or the gameplay or the engine. And that just leads to disaster. It's just constantly propping up a building with like, what is it? Popsicle sticks and glue. It is just, it's not going to work out for you in the long run. And it leads to things like this because you're so right, Reeve. A massive or a Dragon Age collection would sell gangbusters, especially if they had done it in the lead up to Veilguard. Veilguard's been in development for like 10 years. They had the time to do it, but alas, here we are, right? Man, I gotta find this video game because it is just like the perfect microcosm of how bad of a state the industry is in right now. But all I'm seeing is all a bunch of not relevant stuff. Why can't I find anything? We write too much. Sorry guys, Bounding makes way too much noise. News, and I can't get through it. I can't get through it fast enough to find the actual game I'm looking for. Oh well. But yeah, brain drain is real. Brain drain is happening, and this is the result of it. Not only do we get worse products as people have to be brought in and trained and then work on a game, but sometimes we don't get anything because people just don't know how to do it anymore. That's a lot of for my aerospace, outer space nerds out there. This is a fact you'll be very familiar with. But the main reason we haven't gone back to space is because we don't have anybody left who understands the processes of building those engines. Like there are certain rings and certain parts that the knowledge is just gone. So while we have the blueprints, we don't have the working knowledge on how to execute them. I've talked about this before, but ideally the solution to not just this problem in video games, but in everything is it's sort of scaling back, and not ambition, but your promises. Because if in the old days, if a video game came out, it cost, let's say $4 million, not even, like, let's say $2 million. It cost $2 million to make, and that's excessive. $2 million to make, it took 3 years to hit the market, and it does bad. Well, it's a bummer, and you're losing some money on it, but you didn't take such a big hit that you need to start scrambling by cutting everybody. With that, you can go, all right, let's learn our lessons and go forward to make a better product. That's why a lot of times we would see, yeah, that first game was kind of crappy. Did you play the second game? They went off on that one. Oh, did you play the next one? They went even harder on that one, because we used to be able to have that freedom, that opportunity to fail, learn from our mistakes, and try again. We don't have that anymore because everything costs $700 billion and takes 30 decades to develop. At that point, you can't sit and wait, or you can't sit with a loss like, Concord, for example. They couldn't sit with a loss of $400 million. They couldn't just say, yeah, we're keeping everybody. We're just going to keep moving forward, because it was $500 million. And yeah, so we just need to scale things down. We need to be more realistic. Stop the money laundering that I am positive occurs in every industry. Yeah, to People's Choice Award is at least more honest than all of this stuff. Yeah, no, 100%. I can at least believe the People's Choice Awards. I don't ever believe any of the big Hollywood awards. Timon says, and I think this is a good advice for all of us. I trust my nose. If I smell a whiff of something I don't like, I don't care what other people say. And lately my nose has been right a lot. And that's what I'm trying to get at is all of these choices, whether you enjoy something or not, it's going to be personal. So instead of relying on other people to tell you what's good or other people to tell you what's bad, interrogate with yourself what you like, what you don't like. What are you looking for in this game, that game, this movie, or in general? And then you'll be happier because you'll go, oh, that's not up my wheelhouse. I don't care about that at all. I'm going to, focus on this. For example, if I had listened to reviews back in the day, I probably would have played all the Dragon Age games because everybody was all about that. However, I haven't, and nowadays I don't concern myself with what's going on with Veilguard because I can go, that's not for me. I know 100% off the bat it's not going to be for me. I don't need to force it. I don't need to pretend to like it or pretend to hate it because of whatever the discourse is. I can just go, not for me. We're good. Magic Treehouse, I know of Magic School Bus. Magic Treehouse was literally the same thing, but rather than going into people's bodies or shrinking down into ice or whatever, they mostly time travel. That was the premise. It was a history educational series. The movie is an anime only, English sub only, under 2 hours, goes through 4 of the early. It's an anime? I'm so this is blowing my mind. I cannot I can't fathom this. This is so weird. Shinkai says, do agree that Transformers 1 wasn't special, but way better than the Bay movies. Genuinely, that is not saying a lot. I would consider myself a fan of the Bayformers, but I know that those movies, I've never once gone, maybe the first Transformers movie, because we didn't know anything yet, but I've never gone into any subsequent Transformers movie thinking like, I'm about to see absolute cinema. I know like when I go to a Transformers movies, I'm going to see a character I know transform on screen in live action and maybe fight another robot, even if I can't make out what's happening half the time. I admit that. For me, that's what a Transformers experience is. So, like, if they did another Transformers movie, like a live action one, and they went, all right, now we're going to, like, really focus in on, like, horn in on the story, and we're going to focus on, like, drama, I would be out, because I'm like, that's not what I'm coming to these movies for. That's not what I want. Let's see. I know it's a complete mystery that I like Peach Momoko. Nobody has ever heard of that. It's not like she is literally our stream buddy for tonight. I just realized we've gotten okay. We're almost done with the chat, so we'll catch up with chat. Then I'll talk about the stream buddy, and then we'll finally get into the reason I went to the web talk in the first place with the Veilguard mention. Let's see. Volume Dealer says, did you see your name on Tim Pool yesterday? Tim used one of my articles in his videos. No, I didn't see that. I don't watch Tim Pool. I try to not watch political stuff because it kind of just, of any side, not just Tim in general. Just I don't engage with political media because it just, I feel like all it does is make me angry no matter what is being discussed. But no, that's really cool. I appreciate it. I know Tim has used my articles in the past, so the more attention, Tim, that you can throw our way, the more I would appreciate it. 100%, man. So that's awesome. Oh yeah, if it's about Mark Wade, it was probably the news that Mark Wade is considering retirement given the re-election of Donald Trump, which it's sort of let's put a pin in that. We're almost done. We're so close. Don't get me on to new topics. We're so close. Jonas is here. What is up? You're so correct. It happens in every department I've ever worked in. Yeah. And you know what? I would tell Andrew to stop stalking you, except for the fact that I gave him the order. I said, can you keep an eye on Jonas? I love him so much. I need to know what he's doing at all times. I have a log going on for scientific, like historical purposes, so that when you die, Jonas, and they finally opened the Jonas J. Campbell Mausoleum down in Florida with your big face on it and like a pair of mouse ears, there will be a whole record for everybody to peruse to see this was the man we admire so much. He was just like us. He stayed up too late playing Fortnite just like us. Reeve asks, do you think you'll be able to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 1 before Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition releases in March? You need your mecha fix. Dude, Reeve, it's so funny because that's literally been on my mind ever since the announcement came out. Because if you guys didn't know, Xenoblade Chronicles X is finally escaping from the Wii U. It's going to the Switch with some improvements. Unfortunately, it's based on the Western censored release instead of the original Japanese. Unfortunate little bit, but more to the point, if you guys have talked to me, I know Reeve and Andrew and Zero at least have, because they've been on the old streams I did months ago when I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles. I always wanted to play that one, Xenoblade Chronicles X, because it is mecha focused, and it was trapped. And then they said Switch coming, and I went, yeah, crap, because I know I still need to get through it. So I am going to try my hardest to at least finish one, like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 before X comes out, because the game is amazing. I just need to be way better about my time management. Like it is very, very bad, but things are improving on that end as life sort of stabilizes. So with that, and with the coming free time that is afforded to us by the holiday season, hopefully I can pull that off. Xenoblade Cross, don't you dare be Japanese on me like that. All right. I remember when I was a kid and I learned the PlayStation buttons, right? It's in Japan, it's square, triangle, circle, cross. But in America, it's X, obviously, and I've never liked cross. Like I hate it. I don't know why. Even when they do like crossovers, when it's like Goddess of Nikkei X Evan Hellion, I have to, like, I say X. I don't say Cross. I don't know why it is. It's a weird little quirk of mine, and I recognize it is entirely stupid. It's just funny. Yeah, Devastator is true to his name, but not the way you wanted to see it. Giant robo testicles. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what was going on in that movie, like in that movie's writing room, man. I would like to believe positively, in a positive light, that Michael Bay just like went to a local frat house and was like, boys, put on Armageddon, and then meet me back here in like 2 hours, and we're going to talk about Transformers. I use both pretty interchangeably. Yeah. I don't think I can use Cross if it's specifically mentioned as Cross right out the gate, but otherwise I default immediately to X. All right. So we finally got through chat. Oh yeah, and there's Andrew. I like a few of the Emma pieces she's done, of course, because it's Emma. I could presume at this point that Scott Collins could drop an Emma piece, and despite your better judgment, you would buy it. So, all right. So first things first. Let me bring this up real quick so I can just explain. Stream Buddy tonight, as you guys can see, it is this is a Peach Momoko piece. It is Galacta, who, if you guys remember, is the cute anime waifu daughter of Galactus that Marvel introduced years ago, but recently revived for the upcoming Overwatch clone Marvel Rivals. She's hanging out here with our boy Yef. My name is Yef, the cute shark character that Marvel handles right now. That honestly, guys, if you go read the Jeff comics, foil variant stamp approved. I'll put it that way, because Andrew and I, they are very simple and they are very just fun. They're lighthearted fun. No dialogue, just 4 sort of gag comics. They're really, really fun. They'll put a smile on your face. Come join the Jeff army today. But the reason I've selected this piece is not only because it is Peach Momoko, Jeff, and Galacta, which is, you hit it all on the nose. You hit it on the head for me here. But this is a variant. It's part of a variant cover set that is being made for the Marvel Rivals Overwatch clone. Now, I know on its face, even for me, on its face, the term Marvel Overwatch clone is probably reviling. Like, even to me, I go, so tiring. But I gotta be me, right? Like, I did like Overwatch when it was out. I still play it with one of my best friends to this day, every so often when we have the opportunity. And it's Marvel. It's got magic. I can finally play as Magic in a video game. And it's third person. Like, I'm about this game. I'm not even gonna try and sit here and convince you guys all to be about this game as well. But yeah, so this cover they are doing a set of Marvel Rivals variant covers this January when the game drops, and all of them, they got me, guys. They got me by the cojones, because they went and they did design variants. If you guys have been here for a while, you might know I am all about design variant. As an artist, I love seeing the sketch work. These speak to me. So I was like, I saw this news article and I went, damn, you got me. So we get one for Spider-Man's kind of crappy costume. We get one for Venom, who and his anti-Venom alt that you can see right there. Or that's not anti-Venom. I guess it's just the lighting. We get Venom. We get Storm. We get my girl Magic. And then we get Galacta hanging out with Jeff. So I just thought it was an awesome piece. It combines a bunch of things that I like about Marvel at current. Peach, Jeff, Galacta, Marvel Rivals. And threw them all together into that. So just smile. I don't know. It's fun. It's Jeff. But yeah, who knows if this game will be any good, but I'm going to play it. I can't even. Whoa. Andrew heard my Collins comment, said, nah, hell nah. Scott Collins cannot draw my White Queen. Well, first of all, his name's spelled with a K. Get it right? No, I'm kidding. But it would be bad. It would be unfortunate if that came to pass. In Brazil, we call the circle a ball because the translation circulo is 1 syllable longer than bola. We called the circle a ball? What circle? I know we were talking about Transformers. I don't remember a circle. I know there was I was talking. Yeah, help me out here, Timon. I'm obviously stupid as hell. Andrew says we can maybe stream it when it comes out if it's good. That would actually be a great bit of fun for foil variant too. I think that would be a good idea. Let's hope it comes out fun. But I'm also, my expectations are so tempered because again, Marvel, NetEase, Overwatch clone. So let's hope. Let's hope we just at least get. You brought this up the other night when you were, pardon me, Andrew, when you were on World Class Bullshitters, I believe. Either that or Leon's stream. I forget which one it was. But you were talking about Pal World and how you paid $30 for Pal World and you haven't touched it since like you played it. But you played it for like 2 months and you told either Leon or Jeff, you were like, I feel like I got $30 worth of entertainment out of it. So let's hope we can at least get like free-to-play levels of decent entertainment out of it. It doesn't look, as much shit as I'm giving it, it doesn't look mechanically awful. It just, I'm at that state where it's like, I don't want to get any hopes up. I'm aware you're not looking as bad as you could, but I'm not about to jump on the horse. Oh, you'd rather buy a Scott Collins Emma over one drawn by Mariko Tamaki? I'd rather die. Oh man, Mariko Tamaki. I'm not Starfire. Who thought that was a good book idea at any moment? It's so embarrassing. Timon's talking about PlayStation controllers. So back in Brazil, we called the circle a ball because the translation circulo is one syllable longer than bola. Gotcha. That actually, okay, I can sort of see that one. All right, but like to my point, Timon, if we were to start saying, hit the circle button in your brain for a second, you'd be like, that. What the hell are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I don't like that. Again, not like I'm going to go rant and rave or whatever about how much I don't like it, but just sort of like like a bad taste in my mouth. He can't draw right, so I'm not tripping about spelling his name right. You know what? That's completely fair. And then yeah, you got me on that one. Looks way better than the animated version. Oh, are you talking about one of these guys? Who's even animated? Who's even getting animated series right now? I feel like, What If? Is that the only Marvel animated series they're working? Oh God, no. You're talking about that really, really bad, it's the animated series that they said was going to be a prequel to MCU Spider-Man, but then in the it's taken them 8 years to develop, and in that process they've broken it out into its own thing that's not in canon. Spider-Man Freshman Year, right? That's what it is. That thing looks awful. That show just looks so bad. There's a particular clip I want to share of why I think this or like my main evidence to why this is so dog shitty. Let's see. Where did I share you? Okay, well, I realized I shared 2 news pieces about it, and I need to share both of them because both of them are equally embarrassing. Just embarrassing. I think that is the best term I can use for it. Scrolling. While I scroll, let's look at the chat. Yeah, you got me for it, Andrew. Yep, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which looks like ass, trash. It is not looking. I will admit I was sort of interested. I wouldn't say excited. Sort of interested in it when it was supposed to be a prequel to the to like the mainline continuity, because I thought, oh, that's really cool. You're doing like a I liked the idea. This was back in the day when it still felt like they were really trying to keep everything interconnected in the MCU. So I was like, oh, you're going to do your animated series too, and then maybe we'll get comics. Like, I thought they were going full out onto like interconnected media universe, which we know now that they didn't. Their TV stuff is in its own realm. Their pre-Disney plus TV stuff is in its own realm. The comics are in its own. It's all a disaster that they sort of didn't handle very well at the very beginning. But I was interested in it on that angle, especially because at the very, or from what we've seen rather, all of the preview stuff was, where is it? Oh, okay, there it is. It shows Spider-Man in the exact same homemade suit that he has in Homecoming. The one where he like lifts up the locker and he pulls it out after Tony takes it back, and it's like, it's a pseudo Scarlet Spider-ish costume where he's got the goggles and the blue hoodie. So I was like, this could be neat. Everything since then that we've learned about it, from the delays to the release dates to the fact that they're race swapping a bunch of characters to the fact that it's no longer in continuity, it's really bad. But so we got this guy who's this gay? It is King Gay. We are on the gayest stream on YouTube right now. What do you think is going on here? So they released this clip a couple days ago. I don't think it was part of any thing. They just released it. But this is one of our first looks at the actual Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man animation. So check this out. I should hit play. So we'll let it play again, just because it is short. So the main takeaways here for me in this trailer is, one, this art style is asshole. I don't know this feels like somebody's doing a Roblox test map, right? Like the model looks super low quality and janky. All of this looks completely lifeless, like you are literally doing a demo build. The lighting here reminds me of the lighting in the Ultimate Spider-Man game. And while it worked for the Ultimate Spider-Man game, and that game is fantastic, it's an insult here because that game was going for a very stylized, comic book heavy aesthetic because it recognized the limitations of the Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation. This is going just for regular animated-ish aesthetics. There's no reason to have everything look this lifeless. Guys, this is New York City. There are 2 fucking cars on the street here. 2! There's no people. There are 2 cars. This is bad. And like, yeah, people might go, oh, you're pausing it to look for problems. But the thing is, while we're pausing it and talking about it, when you're watching this, you might not identify it, but your brain will. Your brain will go, something's fucking off here. Something's weird. Your brain, in that moment, because so much is going on and it's processing, plot and action and all that, might not land on it, but your brain knows something is up. Oh, look at that. Leon got right there on me. Yeah, looks like the Ultimate Spider-Man game on PS2. Fantastic game, but don't want a show on it. I would want a show on it, but not in that style. If you're doing a television show, you have stronger technologies to work with. You don't have to worry about, splitting processing power between gameplay and rendering your animation and stuff. So, yeah, like if they just took that Ultimate Spider-Man aesthetic from that game 1-to-1, I would go, you guys fucked it up. But if they improved it and, modernized the graphics, all right, guys, then brought them up to a more modern comic book like interpretation or whatever, it would look fantastic. But as we're seeing here, this is bad. This in particular looks like a screenshot from like a mobile game called like Spider Guy Fly Swing, and you play one level and then 7 ads for different Chinese Temu ripoffs get on here. Yeah, no, I was right there with you. I know you, Leon. I got you, buddy. Right, exactly. It's just a Barron's. Welcome to Queens, where you can go and host a full-on like touch football game in the middle of the street and never be interrupted. There were more cars in my suburban California neighborhood on a daily basis than there are on this street right now. Absolutely bonkers. Shinkai says, I didn't think it could get worse than Spider-Man 2017. How is that possible? Would rather take the MTV Spider-Man. This feels like a shittier version of that MTV Spider-Man. like, I know that's weird to say considering that series isn't particularly amazing, no pun intended, but this feels like they were trying to bank off of the nostalgia for that series, and that just on its face seems like a very weird strategy. Like, who would go about doing this? Okay, so the next thing is, so then we get this really it's just nothing to say about this animation. It's really bad. There's no lighting detail put into it. There's no shading. It's just very flat and lifeless. But this is what bugs me here. So Pete goes into battle, kicks the brick out of the guy's hand, webs it, and wings it back into his head. And then we get, so just because it's easy and quick to note, this is stupid. These sort of jokes, like your fourth wall breaking, like, ooh, ouch, like, they're not reacting normally, they're reacting for an audience. And so that's just embarrassing. That sort of tells me what level of writing we're going to get here. But just the fact that Spidey wings a dude with a brick, I don't know, something about this feels so wrong, right? Like, yes, Spider-Man can be brutal. We know that. We've seen him take down Firelord with his bare fists. But when it comes to, like, civilians, we know Spider-Man is of the, like, I'll stop you, but I'm not going to use, like, excessive force. If I can help you, I want to help you instead. So for Pete, who, even as a rookie in his superheroing career, clearly at least has enough experience with his webs to web swing, and still has his, knowledge of science and physics and weight and everything, it just feels so out of character for him to essentially commit, like, attempted murder on this kid. It feels, if this was like a trash can or maybe a baseball bat that, like, got knocked out of his hand, or a purse that he had stolen, something like that might have made sense. But this is, Spider-Man's too smart and aware of his surroundings, even as a younger hero, to make a move like that. No, yeah, exactly, Volume Dealer. Like, bricks are fucking deadly. Like, that shit, go pick up a brick right now. Those things are heavy as fuck. They're thick, solid. I mean, I know it. Spencer, why are you describing a brick? No shit. I know, but, like, I'm trying to reinforce whatever you're thinking of a brick, multiply that by, like, 10, and that's what a brick really is in real life. And yeah, this feels like yet another example of a writing team writing a character without fully understanding what that character is. This isn't Spider-Man. This is like more Kane than anything, right? And we're not even close to getting clones in the MCU, any Marvel Studios related media anytime soon. So just in this one little clip, between the bad graphics, the poor writing, the out of character murder moment from Spider-Man, none of this gives me any sort of optimism about it. And to really just sell how embarrassing they are being about this show, this news came out earlier today. Be paused. The opening theme song for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man will blend the original 60s theme song with a contemporary rap verse. Like, I like rap. I'm a big, like, I really, really heavily enjoy rap as a music genre. This is embarrassing. This is literally, how do you do, fellow kids? I don't know what the hell they're trying to do with this show, but at this point, like, this news right here just makes me think, oh, you are trying to throw anything at the wall to get interest in this story, because it's not here. I don't even know. I've heard nothing from anybody with any level of excitement for this project. Here, let's check out the comics or the comments. Well, there's our boy Matty Mullen and our boy Sammy Threepeat, but here, maybe I'm just going to scroll down more to just get us out of people that they're going to recommend to me. Yeah, shocker. no, sounds terrible. A lot of people are saying like they're in for it, but yeah, like this is just, it's embarrassing. There's no direction here except this feels like it's being made by committee. That's what I think I want to say. It doesn't feel like there's an actual artistic intent behind, get this AI bullshit off my screen. What are we doing here? It doesn't feel like there's any actual desire to work with the character, to tell a story about this character. It feels like they are just making content. And when you do that with my boy Peter, you know we will have words. Right, exactly. And it's even more insulting because it's Spider-Man, a character that everyone knows, Marvel's flagship character. And this is the treatment they're giving him. They're giving him the lowest effort treatment, and that sort of your point here, Leon, builds to what I'm saying, where like it feels like it's just a marketing thing. What do? Make a new show. Okay, who's in it? Our popular character is Spider-Man. Great, put it in there. What do we do for the narrative? Well, representation's a big thing. Okay, go swap Harry Osborn and MJ and all of them. What else are we gonna do? Kids like animation these days. Okay, we'll throw it into CG animation. People liked What If, right? They did not, and this is even lower quality than What If. And then how do we make it appeal? Like, how do we update it? Put rap into the theme song. That'll do it. Like, here's sort of, if they had just come out and they launched the series and we saw the episode and it had the rap twist on the 60s theme song, I think we all would have rolled our eyes, but ultimately would have gone, dumb, whatever. But when you come out and advertise that clearly indicates to us as an audience that this is something you want to highlight and you think will effectively serve the movie. And that's virtue signaling, and it's annoying, as you know, probably all of us in this, at least on this show, in this chat right now, all of my viewership have been saying for years, we don't want virtue signaling. Either be like earnest about it, and yeah, maybe your game or your movie or whatever won't do well, but at least you were earnest. Stop trying to, get a quick buck off of, look, we've got black people now. There's an Asian over here. There's a gay person. Money, please. It's insulting. Like you said, it's insulting. That's the best one. Yeah, Timon says, I once got hit in the head by a small branch. It hard resetted me for a couple of seconds. Imagine a brick. Bingo. I once got, I was hopping over a fence to get into a community pool and my hands were wet. So I face planted onto the ground and I got like a concussion, and it resetted me too. That was a fall of like 3 feet, right? This is like a brick that is coming from it. That's like a far distance, whatever the elasticity is on Pete's web, right? Here, let's check that out again. That thing's going all the way out to the alleyway. And they're clearly, or like to the street, and they're like halfway through the alley. That's long. So then he whips that, and it takes the force of it pulling that way, and then snaps it back with the elasticity. You guys want to see somebody die? Like, that is what it is. Yeah, Goddess, that looks awful. Yeah, no, there's nothing great about this. Not at all. Timon and Volume Dealer, all right, I'm not here to get into a debate about anybody's music taste. If you don't like rap, you don't like rap. Oh, well. But yeah, so I don't even know why we were talking about Friendly Neighborhood. Oh, because of Marvel Rivals and all that fun stuff. So yeah, this sucks. This is not going to be great. But sort of keeping on at least the topic, tangentially related to Spider-Man, let's jump over to this story or let's talk about Veilguard real quick. I know we touched upon this very, very early and obviously took tangents and sort of let the conversation get away from ourselves in a good way. Thank you guys. Like I said at the top, I didn't know what we were going to talk about this week, but thanks to you guys, we're talking. So last week or this week rather, or last week, I don't even know what day it is. What the hell is today? The 8th. Okay. So this was last week. Last week we got the release of Veilguard, and we got our look at the writing. And if you guys have been online in the past week, you've probably seen multiple instances of this game's writing, from the scene where Tosh is trying to come out as non-binary to her parents, to the infamous scene that is at the center of this particular article, which is the, pulling a barb. Oh, I'm sorry, I misgendered you. There's also the cutscene where Tosh and the necromancer get in an argument, and Tosh basically is like, I don't like your way of life, you need to change it for me. And he goes, oh, okay. The reason I specifically note that one is because if Tosh's character arc is about accepting different lifestyles and being okay with that, it's so fucking insanely hilariously hypocritical for BioWare to then write a character moment for her where she goes to another person and goes, hey, the way you do necromancy, I don't personally like that. I don't like that you talk about it. You need to stop when you're around me. You need to not do that. And is openly praised for telling the necromancer that's creepy. It's so fucking funny. This game is so that's mostly I could have said swing over. Man, I'm not on my game tonight, Leon. If you'd have popped in at the beginning of the stream, I full on admitted that my head is elsewhere tonight. Between daylight savings and since I'm in Arizona, Leon, I don't have to do it, so it's really confusing for me to try and coordinate what time zones I'm working with people in. Between that, I had a bunch of errands to take care of today, and I've got a bunch of bounding work to do. My head is just, it's out there. So as long as I'm coherent, and clearly I'm coherent enough for 5 of you to stick around and hang out with me this long, I think we're doing okay. But yeah, more than just, as I mentioned before, I don't bring this up particularly to talk about Veilguard or the drama around it or anything else around it. Other people have already sort of covered it way more in depth. Like I said, go check out Marvin and Kevin over on Tooneytown. Also give a shout out to Leon. I know he's regularly covered the news as I would shout out Leon as probably one of the very few daily news uploaders I would actually listen to, or I actually do listen to. You guys know what I mean? The people who cover just this happened. It's not a bad thing. It's just I don't particularly find a lot of quality or worth in that content, but I'll shout out Leon because he does cover it well. He covers it from fair perspectives. So go subscribe over there to Words of Paradise. But yeah, so I bring this up not to talk about Veilguard specifically, but more talk about this issue of dialogue, of communication in video games, about writing in video games. If you guys, let me scroll back up real quick. Dang it, the chat's already too far gone. At current, I sort of do forget why I wanted to talk about bad writing in video games. If anybody remembers, just drop it in the chat and remind me. It's not that important. We're here anyway. I'm just like, how'd that train of thought get from A to B? But more to the point. So so Veilguard, there are a lot of moments where here, can I even find the Tosh parents? So if you guys haven't checked out the what the hell? Oh, I typoed it wrong. That's why it's not giving me the right thing. Media, please give me the cutscene. Nobody uploaded it under that. That's too bad. It'll come up somewhere. Is it here? Maybe it's here. Please. No, it's just a picture. Anyway, back to Veilguard. So when dang it. Oh yeah, Leon says, ironically, even though I make that content, I rarely consume it myself. I find that is a very common stripe among creators of really anything. For example, I have this show, I have Bounding, where I talk about and I have Foil Variant, where I talk about comic books, video games, all that stuff. I don't really listen to other people talk about video games or comic books because it's sort of like I have knowledge and it's going to annoy me when I can't express my knowledge or talk to you about it. So I just avoid it altogether. So Veilguard is sort of the latest, greatest example of this phenomena in video games where you're not being treated anymore, guys, as adults as anybody with a modicum of intelligence, you are with the shift to the greater hug space, the greater era of toxic positivity that has encroached into the video game sphere in recent years. You've seen a lot of edges be sanded off of interactions, off of characters, whether that be in their personalities, whether that be in their character designs. Off the top of my head, one of the ones that sticks out to me since it's so recent is Sonic Generations, where Amy, they said, nope, you can't have Amy be boy crazy. Now she just has to be a strong and independent woman. No relation to Sonic or love or men at all. We're not doing that. And as an Amy fan, and as someone who, saw the reactions to to the changes online, it was very clear that even though one could academically classify, let's say, Amy's personality as toxic femininity or whatever, or misogynist depiction, whatever stupid word you want to use, most people didn't care because most people didn't buy into that argument because Amy is still, that's a real sort of character trait. They didn't insult her with it. They just played it straight. It was just a part of her character. They did other things with her, right? She got to, go hang out in Sonic Adventure. She got to lead her own team in Sonic Heroes, but that to them, too far gone. And what I'm sort of the root cause of this is, like I said, that toxic positivity, that let's not offend everybody attitude. But as a result, everything nowadays it all reads like you are trying to have like a conversation they all read like work conversations, right? Like they literally just feel like you are talking to somebody and you want to be nice and, just have a pleasant interaction, but you don't want to step over too far because your boss is listening and they might tell HR and that might get you fired and you have no idea how to misstep. So you need to be on your best, like, big boy behavior. That's probably even a better analogy. Like, you're like a kid going to meet somebody your parents respect. And, so you're told, like, video games now talk to you like you're dumb. Everything is you have to be very, very straightforward, very, very, again, you can't be mean. You can't have any flavor to anything. And that's where writing nowadays ends up in everything feeling like it's a PSA. It's an after school special. Pardon me. Like, for example, let's get into here. Whoa, that is loud. Where this part really bugged me about the Veilguard, this particular Veilguard scene, because yes, there's the misgendering, and then Isabella, comments on how there are other cross-dressing Lords of the Fallen or whatever. Admittedly, guys, from a writer's a writing quality perspective, the interaction up to this point where I've paused is cringe, but it's not entirely off base, right? There are some moments, but Isabella accidentally misgendering somebody, then proceeding to explain herself. That can happen. Yeah, the push-ups and stuff is really, really stupid, but what are you going to do? But it's right here where this cutscene goes from cringe to what the actual fuck are we doing here? Hello, Caveat. And yeah, she definitely pulled a Barv. You know it. No, I'm not. You just disagree with me. See, and it obviously it continues and it gets even more insulting to people. But the main takeaway for this conversation that I want to highlight from this cutscene is that interaction right there. Like when Isabella is telling, I forget the elf girl's name, but when she's saying, "Oh, sometimes people don't mean it," and she starts sort of lecturing her, those aren't conversations that happen in the real world. Nor do conversations. So at least this part here. How? I saw the bio, Leon. That's in there. They took it out of her character bio. I don't know. What do you want from me? They specifically removed it. Yes. Okay, then what was it? If they put it in her bio, they changed her bio to take it away that, oh, Sonic, Amy chases Sonic, and now it just says Amy is she's on her own and she's always happy. I don't know what please explain to me what you mean. I would invite you on, but this stream setup isn't set up for multiple guests yet. Hopefully I can get that in the update, but I'm not. Hit me with your reasoning, because I'm not seeing what you're talking about. Here, just while Leon's typing that up for everybody here, Amy Generations profile. Why is Twitter not wanting to work with me? Help me. Just show me the images. It doesn't need to be that hard. This is actually kind of bonkers that I'm not able to find this so easily. It was all over Twitter like 3 weeks ago. Maybe I just need to go to Twitter and find it. Maybe that's what I need to see. Twitter.com, Amy bio. And media. Show me what I need to see. There we go. We'll be back, Isabella. All right. Leon says, so after 2011, when Generations originally came out, Sonic. Okay, no. Wrong. You are. All right. I know what you're talking about, and you are actually factually wrong. Let me get into this. So, after 2011, this is what Leon says. After 2011, when Generations originally came out, Sega went through a lawsuit where they lost pretty heavily due to a former writer screwing them. Because of that, they made a bunch of new mandates to writing Sonic characters to mitigate writers being able to warp characters and claim ownership. One of those mandates was characters are no longer allowed to be in romantic relationships. I know what you're referencing, and unfortunately, Leon, you're wrong here. So what Leon's talking about is a couple years ago, Ken Penders, who was a longtime writer on the Sonic the Hedgehog comics for Archie, specifically the Knuckles series, took Sega to court, arguing that all of the original characters and all of the original work he put into the Echidna side of the Archie comics lore were his, that he had the legal rights to those characters. I did say the name. I said the legendary name of Ken Penders. But so Ken took them to court and said, the Lara Sue Chronicles, Julie Sue, all of these characters are mine. That he surprisingly won out that lawsuit. And now, if you know this, he is actually doing his own comics with all of those Echidna characters. Lara Sue, literally every Echidna from that comic who wasn't Knuckles is under ownership by Ken Penders and is in his own original comic book now. Following that lawsuit, they did introduce a number of writing mandates, but those mandates were for the comic books. Those don't apply to the video games. The main thing they have in the main rule they put in, I totally tongue-tied myself. The main rule that they enacted that affects comic books to video game like continuity is that Sega does not allow anything that's in the comic books to be brought into canon, and sort of vice versa. So that is what happened. That's what's happening right now. Ian Flynn is the one who got those mandates, and that's why a lot of his current Sonic comics play so close. They're so different from his old work because he doesn't have the freedom now to go out and do all that. So this isn't a change due to that lawsuit. The video games could have done whatever they wanted. The Ken Penders lawsuit only applied to the comic book creation. This change right here, where Amy went from a young hedgehog, a young cheerful girl hedgehog, Amy can be a bit obsessed about chasing Sonic. She even claims to be his girlfriend, is now a cheerful girl who loves to help others. Sonic inspired her to be her very best. That change was done at the behest of Sega. Those rules don't go that way. Yes, they don't apply to the games by rule. However, they have since handed the writing to Ian Flynn for the games as well, who is unifying the canon. So he's working within both. Okay, but see, right now you're moving the goalposts. The original point that you and I were discussing was, is there a rule that says you can't do this in the video games? The answer to that is emphatically no. Those rules only apply to the comic books. Now, yes, Ian Flynn is coming on to write the video games as well, but you pulling out this idea that now he's not under, the rule isn't for Ian. The rule is for the specific mediums. So comic book writers have their own set of rules about what they can use. Video game writers can have their own set of rules that they can use. Those both align with what Sega wants. Sega ultimately gets the final say on this. So he's writing Amy in the games to be consistent to how she's being written in the comics. But Leon, that's not your... This game wasn't written by Ian Flynn. I need you to understand that. This localization was not done by Ian Flynn. We are literally looking at something that existed years ago, 10 years ago, that they've now updated to take that away. This isn't about those rules. I mean, same thing. Do you want me to bring up Rouge? They've covered up most of Rouge's back and her cleavage, but it's still acceptable in the comic books. This is what I'm talking about. Sega has their own weird anti-sexuality, anti-anything. Basically, they're running their game division like an HR company. That's all that's going on over there. There's no rule that this Amy thing is not a case of what were they going to do? This Amy thing is a case of Sega going, we need to change that. So even if they share the same canon now, that doesn't apply. That's not what's going in here. Right. Flynn wrote Shadow Generations. I know that, Andrew, but this profile, this stuff was from the original one. This was from Generations 1. So he's not going through and making a brand new profile for Amy. And again, that also sort of ignores how video games are written. There's not just one writer who goes and does every fucking thing. I bet you there are staff writers who handled this over Ian, and they just sent them off to somebody to say, is this good or not? Ian Flynn did do the rewrites for Generation. I'm not saying he didn't do the new stuff for Generations, guys. That's not what I'm saying. But when it comes like dialogue and all that, yes, he did work on that. But when we're talking about profiles right here, you even say it right here, Leon. He's also credited with rewritten dialogue. This is not dialogue. So this is what I'm trying to say is that, yes, I understand where you're coming from, Leon, and I know what you're referencing. But the rules about what creators can and can't do with the characters, that is only for what they're doing in the comic books. Sega has every right to be able to go, no, we will allow this, we won't allow this, and that's what they're doing here. So whether or not it is being done out of a express desire to unify the comic book and video game canons, at the end of the day, this was not a mandate for the video games. And so the fact that it's changed in a video game means that Sega overrode the decision and said, let's go for it. Again, even if Ian Flynn is writing this stuff, Sega is the one who has to say, this is good, that's bad. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that there is not an effort by Sega to make it all line up or anything like that. But what I am saying is that in terms of video games, it's less, we're abiding by a set of rules and more Sega doing things on a whim, right? Like most video game developers do, where they're sort of reading the room and then making a bad decision after that. I would genuinely be curious. I'm not going to speak to what the process is like. Like, did the video game rules come first? Did the comic book? I don't know any of that because we've not heard any details. I would love if anybody out there in comicdom has contact with Ian Flynn or whatever and would love to send him mine and Leon's way. I think that would be a fantastic conversation for us to have because that would be super interesting. But at least as this goes, it's, Andrew right here. The final say is on Sega for sure, regardless of what Flynn's intent is. So, aside from this breakdown on Amy, I have been hearing that this game is fantastic. I know, really? Leon says, I've tried contacting him twice. He hasn't responded, so I gave up. I genuinely would have bet money, Leon. I would have bet money if we were all just hanging out that Ian Flynn would have been like one of the creators who would have engaged, like at least written you back. If we were like sitting at a bar and we were like, who do you think is most likely to come on one of our live streams of comic book creators? I would have put like, I would have definitely thrown Ian up there. I have no basis for it. It just feels like he would be up to going and talking to people. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Flynn has rejected requests from fans for a while. He's gotten a lot of harassment over the years. I mean, I'm not surprised. Fandoms, this isn't even a Sonic thing. It's just fandom can go way bonkers. It can get bad, and but then linking it to Sonic specifically, that multiplies like fandom toxicity by like 900%. So I feel really, really bad about Ian being harassed by Sonic people, because you know that so much of the harassment was shipping. Shipping is nuts in the Sonic universe, especially because there's only like 3 women. So everybody is battling to have their favorite character get with one of them, and it completely devolves. Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog fandom is filled with psychopaths. I've stayed clear of the online fandom my entire life. I mean, again, this is, all fandoms are filled with psychopaths. That's sort of what I want to get at. There is not one fandom I've ever encountered where there is not legitimately crazy people. So yeah, like that's why I feel very, very bad for Ian. See, this doesn't apply to me because I got my start in the Sonic the Hedgehog sprite art community. So Leon says, Sally Acorn greater than Amy for a relationship, but Amy is my second favorite Sonic character. Make it make sense. I'm the exact same way. I don't know what it is. Like, I think Sally is the end game. Like, she's awesome. Like, she actually does stuff. She's smart. She kicks ass, whatever. But they're like, Amy's cute. I like the hammer. She's always there. I don't know. I'm right there with you. What Donald Trump what? Okay, so more to my point back here about the writing and everything. And actually in relation to what Leon sort of pointed out, let's look at this profile, right? The old profile from 2011 says Amy Rose, a young, cheerful girl hedgehog. Amy can be a bit obsessed about chasing Sonic. She even claims to be his girlfriend. She's an energetic go-getter who lets nothing get in her way. And then we go to I was Googling a photo for a thumbnail and accidentally said it in chat. My bad. No, totally good. I was so confused. I was like, what? I know you and you're my friend, so I was like, there's probably a point to this, but off the jump, I was like, what in the God's name is Leon talking about? So then, yeah, then we fast forward to 2024, and her profile now reads, Amy Rose, a cheerful girl who loves to help others. Sonic inspired her to be her very best. She's an energetic go-getter. With the help of her Pico Pico hammer and fortune card, nothing gets in her way. Now, aside from the fact that it obviously takes away any reference to like relationships or whatever, I think all of us can sort of recognize that in comparison to these two, the old one has more personality to it, right? It seems more real. Like, it feels like I'm talking about a real person. Like, yeah, she can be a bit obsessed about Amy, she's a little bit obsessed, but then, but doesn't matter. She, like, nothing gets in her way. And then here it's like, no, boys, we need to talk about like only the positive things about Amy. Like, she's helpful. Sonic inspired her to achieve more. Here are her weapons specifically to help her in these situations. It feels like they're trying to make a trading card that, like a human resources trading card that they can go, here's this character, here are their socially acceptable qualities to talk about. And now I bring this all together because, where was the clip? I know I pulled it up. Back to Twitter and gotta look for it again because blah 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 blah. And then I get to make all the most adorable vamping sounds where I'm just groaning at you guys. Oh my God, why can't I find it? It shouldn't be this hard. Perfect. All right. So in case you guys haven't seen this, this is a review. Unfortunately, somebody's got to have the name here. I really wish somebody I don't want to show it without finding who the source was, because that's just fucked up. Somebody. Thank you, God. Okay. It is from a YouTuber known as White Light. So White Light did this review. Actually, I can probably search it on his like direct video and we can check it out. What search terms do I need to use to honestly, guys, YouTube transcript like function, it's just so great. There we go. I just need one word. Okay. Perfect. So this is from a review from a YouTuber called White Light of Spider-Man 2, the PS2 game by Insomniac. And he makes this point, and I'm going to play it. It's about a minute or so, and we'll pause and we'll talk about it. But it really just cracks right into hits the nail on the head of the problem with modern writing. Oh, it's that time of night again, isn't it, Corey? Yup, I got to get bed here soon. You got work tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, man. It's not a stream without seeing you or talking to you. I'm sure I'll see you on Sunday. So talk to you soon, man. Go get some rest. Oh, one sec. Pardon me. Zero says, I get why Amy fans are so apprehensive about changing her character, though, because they fear they're making her into a girl boss. Well, so first of all, I'm not saying Amy fans shouldn't be apprehensive. I'm on their side. I'm saying Amy fans should be perturbed by that change. And it's less girl bossing her, at least in this regard. Like that doesn't, like her new profile isn't a girl boss, but it's stripping her of her soul. It's turning her from somebody with a life and a character and quirks into a very neatly packaged HR profile, if that makes any sense, right? Like imagine if we were writing resumes and you're like, oh, I host a YouTube show. Somebody would put that on your resume and be like, is excellent with communicating with others or whatever. Yes, maybe that sounds good as a skill, but if you read that, if somebody says like, tell me about Spencer, and somebody says he is very good with communicating with people, you'd be like, is he a fucking robot? Is he a CIA agent? Do you know anything about him? But if you go, oh yeah, he runs a YouTube channel that has like, he gets a couple hundred viewers every so often, people would go, oh, that gives me more information about what he's like. I can infer that he's a little bit extroverted, that he likes talking about stuff, things like that. What they're doing is just sort of chopping everything different about everybody and making sure it's being sold to you in a way that nobody will take offense to it. Honestly, why am I even saying anything when we can listen to White Light here break it down? So I'll even throw in the captions, which have gotten a lot better. I'm going to give kudos to YouTube. In the last like 6 months, they've gotten a lot better. Let me undo the audio. Oh, it's doing the thing again. Advanced audio properties, 100. Close. Okay. Oh, that's why there's no sound, because I moved it. Oh my God. Holy shit. It's still doing it. I'm going to.
Plotline.
Okay. I don't know. I had to take it way the hell down. No, Andrew, I don't know if you were here earlier, but when I tried to play when I was trying to play the Saska Sisters trailer, it did the same thing. Something is fucked up my OBS tonight, because like when I started, the intro didn't like after the Wells video, it didn't automatically transfer over to the face screen. It muted me when I came on, even though that doesn't happen, and now it's like blasting us in our ears with shrieking. I don't know what the hell. Oh, OBS is being way more than gay. Oh, caveat. I'm right here with you, buddy. I've got my immersion like in earbuds, Bose and everything, and that shit that hurt. Yeah, nope. That's on me. That's on me, everybody. That's completely on me. But I believe. Okay, now we fixed it. Now it looks like everything is at least not spiking into the world of hell. So now let's go back.
Shame Miles isn't. Okay, next point. Because Miles' plotline doesn't have the energy to distract you from this, he suffers the most from one of the broadest problems with all Insomniac Spider-Man stories. The truth is, you guys, Miles never had much swagger. He's actually quite bland. And to be fair, it's not just him. It's his mates, it's his girl, it's most of the people he interacts with, and it is Peter's circle too. In terms of personality, they're all really polite. Polite in a strangely formal way. I don't quite know how to put it. They talk like their employers are listening. Because it's so common, and because it's so often the most notable feature of their personalities, it comes to render dialogue dry and predictable. Many of the words written for Genki could be spoken by Mary Jane, or Peter, or any scientist at the EDF, and you wouldn't be able to tell. The humor's got the same agonizingly safe job application quality, the affectation of social awkwardness despite not actually being socially awkward. You know the drill. Their default on the character creation screen. Sourceless. According to some truly remarkable takes I've seen online, the reason Peter isn't always as funny in this game as he used to be is because of depression. So, depression doesn't make you joke any less often, or stop you from going about life in a generally upbeat manner. It just makes your jokes less funny. Interesting.
Now that's a knuckle sandwich!
Sourcelessness.
So yeah, White Light, I think, sums up my feelings toward the modern video game writing ecosystem. Because, yeah, Reeve, this is an old video. It's been shared around a lot. I just brought it up because of we got turned to it somehow. I'm going to have to go look at the VOD after this and see how we got onto the subject of video game writing. But this is the exact problem. This is what I was sort of saying, Zero, right? Where the rougher things in life, the things that, might upset people or people might, raise an eyebrow at, that is what makes up life. Life is not an easy, simple, black and white, this is good, this is bad. People have different tastes. People have different senses of humor. Sometimes somebody will say something off the cuff that they didn't mean to. Sometimes somebody might just never learn how to properly interact in like a formal setting. But in video games nowadays, everybody, like White Light said, talks so formally, like their employer is standing next to them. This sort of just came to me right now. I would equate it to when you are let's say like a young professional, like you're in college still, or you have just graduated and you've got your first job, and you're invited to, a social gathering, a social function, or a work function, or like a business. Like if you're an undergrad, you get invited to like a company that you might work for in the future, and they're having like a social night. Or if you're at your job, it's like, hey, let's all, we're having birthday cake in the workroom for Caveat's birthday. In those situations, they all go, damn it, I totally blanked on what I was going to say, because I thought about that sand joke, and I'm like, that joke is just so bad. But, well, I'll always go with Andrew here. Andrew says, that's called bad differentiation between characters. Everyone sounds the same. But the problem is, it's not just differentiation, right? A differentiation, for example, let's take you and me, Andrew, right? Like we both really, one could argue that obviously we're not identical, but we share a lot of similar qualities. We both really like video games. We're both really into comic books. We're both like tired of the intellectual dishonesty running around the internet, right? And so if people wanted to differentiate us, they could, obviously, I use different slang than you do. I swear a little bit more. You use more like Spark and stuff like that. Or I reference Ben Reilly a lot more than you talk about Wally West. Like those are the things you can do to differentiate characters speaking. But then it's the problem is, or like to your point, and now I'm sort of backtracking a little bit, because like to your point, now I'm seeing what you're saying is like at its core, that differentiation comes from people's personalities. These characters don't have personalities. outside of okay, that's what I was saying, right? You go to like a formal work function, but you're young and you don't really know what to do. So you put it on yourself. Like, I got to be on my best behavior. You think calculated every word. Somebody says, what do you do for fun? You don't go, oh man, like I wouldn't go, oh man, I love sitting at home and shooting the shit and hanging out in my underwear all day, reading comic books. I would say something like, oh, you know me, like I like reading books. I enjoy movies. You know, I work out a lot. I write music. What do you call it? Like, I craft my response. We all would. And that's what it feels, because I am very aware of how they're like, I care about my colleagues and my boss's opinions of me, right? For good reason in that sense, because it's a job, it's a professional setting. When it comes to like Gank and Peter and Miles and everybody interacting, there's all the same person because they all feel like they're all that young college student and everybody else is their work colleagues. So in doing that, like White Light said, everybody sounds the same. Everybody sounds super just like nothing is going on. And this isn't and to our points, this isn't a Spider-Man problem. This is a problem with, like we were looking at Veilguard, like we're looking at Sonic, like we're looking at Spider-Man. We've gotten to the point in media production or in entertainment, in art, in artistic like creativity expression, where because everybody is so afraid of offending everybody else, people go to way great lengths to sand the edges off of everything. And when you do that, everything ends up being the same sort of lifeless ball, and nothing differentiates from it. You need those things that, you know, some people might like, some people don't. Like, you need those things. That is the spice of life. If everybody liked the same thing or everybody agreed on everything, life would be weird and robotic and boring. But it's the disagreements, it's the arguments, it's all of that. Earlier, we wouldn't have had such an awesome talk with Leon earlier if he just went, oh no, this is what it is. And I just went, you are correct. Because you challenged me, I am wrong. Right? Like, then we would have the most boring stream of all time. Or I would just be sitting here going, yes, Words of Paradise, you're correct. Timon, you are correct. Zero, you're correct. Corey, you're correct. And it's just, there's no personality there. There's no life to it. And yeah, that's really, I really just, this clip has been on my mind a lot this week. It popped back into circulation because I don't even know. I think because of Veilguard, but it came back on my timeline. So, well, okay. So Leon says, to be fair, I challenge you even if I knew you were correct, just to keep you on your toes. I can't even get mad at that because that's what I do when I bullshit in your stream chat. Pardon me. Oh, is it really Caveat? I had no idea. I really just picked. I just picked one of the. You were the first of our viewers to come to mind, so that's awesome. So, happy early birthday! This is now a dedicated birthday stream for Caveat. Go subscribe to his YouTube. Go give him super chats. Go give him a present. And I mean, this is just straight facts. Leon does suck at Smash Bros. But yeah, guys, the stamp on this is that like video game writing is bad. We know that, but now rather than just being able to say it's bad, we can identify the problem as everybody is sauceless. Nope. Everybody is the same blank cardboard. Really? Honestly, even though it prompted me to like push back a little bit, Andrew's right on the money here. Bad differentiation between characters. Everyone sounds the same. Addendum, because everyone is the same, right? Like White Light said, a line from Gank could be spoken by Spider-Man or a random NPC and it wouldn't sound any different. Whereas if, you know, I came out tomorrow and I was going, Spark, Barry Allen, like they didn't get Barry Allen's costume exactly right. Everybody would go, that's an Andrew thing. That's not a Spencer thing. What the hell? And they would be right because that's how we would all set it up, right? So, and lo, his name was Chaos. What did you do you did that to me the other day. Oh, you were like, nobody wants Mega Man Legends 3 or a collection. And I was like, I'm right here. I'm sitting right the hell here. Oh, I don't have much on YouTube. Don't have super chats. Well, we'll try to find something to do for you on the next stream, Caveat. I'll try to make a graphic or something. Well, everybody should feel special on their birthday, and the fact that I landed on it, I don't know. I feel like it needs to be put in the record books, if you will. Oh my God, yeah, Timon. That this is a stream all on its own. And I only say that because we are on the home stretch here for this week's episode. But Mega Man Legends, Mavlore, Mega Man Legends is my favorite fucking thing on this planet. The art style is perfect. The gameplay is perfect. The characters are perfect. The setting is perfect. Like, to me, Legends and Legends 2 and even Tron Bond, like all of that, 10 out of 10. So I have been angry for years over the Legends 3 fiasco, over the fact that we don't get jack squat. I lost my mind back in college when we got Tatsunoko versus Capcom and Mega Man Volnut was the representative. That was the most insane day to me. I picked up, even though they are good games on their own, the Project X Zone games, 1 and 2 for the Nintendo. I think both are on 3DS. First one might be on DS, but they're a series of Bandai Namco, it's a Namco, Capcom, Sega crossover strategy RPG, and Legends and Volnut and Roll Casket are in both of them. And that, more than anything, made me go like, I got to go out and get this game right the hell now. So, yeah, no, best Mega Man games. I look up at the moon every night, and I just remember that Rock's not coming home. He's just never coming home. Okay, I was right. Yeah, Project... What the fuck? No, shut up! I was gonna say, how dare you? I was like, what did I call it? Like, no. Project X Zone. 1 was DS, 2 was 3DS. Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't see the packaging perfectly. By the way, if you guys haven't played those games and you're fans of, like, either any of those companies' library of games or whatever, I highly recommend you go pick them up. All the character interactions are spectacularly funny. The gameplay is amazing. And yeah. You got me on that one. You got me on that one. All right. So, with us winding down into the sort of end of our show, I figured, I don't know how this always happens where like the main story is saved till last, but let's talk about kind of the only real story I sort of I entered this show knowing we were going to talk about. So, in case you guys didn't know, earlier this week, I believe, what is today? Friday? So Wednesday, or damn it, I don't even know what day it is. Yesterday, Thursday I'm going to restart because I am just all over the place. For those of you who don't know, who aren't American and don't care about the financial sector, we are currently in the middle of the Q3 earnings season, which, again, if you know finances, you know what that means. If you don't, it doesn't really matter. All you really need to know is that we're in the season where companies come out and make their semi-regular or their regular, they do it about 4 times a year, earnings update on how the company is doing, how the finances are doing, what their outlook is, and generally they will also take a handful of questions from investors. And normally these aren't investors like we would be. We're talking like Morgan Stanley analysts, JP Morgan chairs and stuff like that. So more to the point, yesterday was Warner Brothers' turn to come to the table. And to the surprise of, I think, probably no one, they admitted that their video game division is, quote, substantially underperforming. Now, obviously, you guys already know where I'm sort of going with this, given that you saw the headline and all the graphics that I've used. But we all know that this, like we can look at Warner Brothers' recent catalog of games and know they haven't really been doing hot. Genuinely, outside of Hogwarts Legacy a year ago, or maybe 2, no, it's a year ago now, right? Andrew will be able to tell me, Andrew or whoever else. So that was the last time Warner Brothers not only had like a gangbuster selling game, like that game blew the hell up, but just had a game that was any modicum level of success. In the years since, we've gotten Mortal Kombat 1, or in the year since, sorry, not years, that would make things sound way worse. But we got Mortal Kombat 1, which was rocky and didn't have the same sort of, as somebody, I'm not going to get into it because, again, it's a whole bit of lore that I would have to go dig for. But just as somebody who is part of the fighting game community or considers himself part of it, because I love fighting games, I'm always watching tournaments, I'm always practicing tech and all that stuff. When you guys wonder, like, what does he do with his time? When does he get the chance to play video games? I'm practicing things in, like, fighters. Like, I admit it, whatever. But, and then, yeah, so caveat, Mortal Kombat 1, fighting game community, did not receive it as strongly as it did before, which is bad for a game that theoretically puts its, or predicates its future success or its, and like its goals on how well it sells, how much people play it, how much people are buying battle passes, all that sort of fun stuff. So Mortal Kombat 1, it was not a failure of a game by any notion. It's not a Concord. It's not anything like that. But it was definitely a disappointment compared to what they wanted. And then as Caveat brings up, killed the Justice League. It straight up, when Suicide Squad came out, that game has caused untold levels of disaster for Warner Brothers. In their last 2 earnings calls this year, so the one we're talking about right now is their 3rd one. This entire year, in all their earnings calls, they've had to admit Suicide Squad was a complete disaster. In their first earnings call this year, they had to admit that they lost about $100 million worth of valuation to the company, or there's a very, very complicated thing in finances that is here. I got to look up the exact term so that I don't make you guys all flunky or AP. What the fuck do you call AP civics class? That's what I was looking for. I don't know why I'm so stupid. The word is called dang it. There it is. This is what I need. So there's these things called impairments in finance. And basically what an impairment is if you have a product, an impairment is anything that sort of causes its value to go down. And that could be anything from changing, consumer tastes to a product just not selling well to just time, right? Over time, people are going to want to pay less for older movies and so on and so forth. So in impairments, the game has lost them it's already gone down 100 million in impairments, which means they're not recouping their money, and their value in the game being up is not rising, right? Like basically all the effort they're putting into making DLC characters and costumes isn't returning enough money for them to qualify Justice League as a success. So Justice League has been doing that. In the next earnings report, they straight up admitted that Justice League cost them a 41% reduction in video game revenue. If you go look at the Steam charts for the game barely, a AAA title based on a widely successful IP under the name of a studio that had a giant amount of trust, it barely breaks 3,000 people, on a good day. Which is, and I think I might even be being generous and only remembering the launch numbers. And it's probably gone way the hell down since then. So basically, Warner Brothers video game division has been struggling very, very poorly. And now with the latest earnings report, we have learned that MultiVersus, very much like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, has not been performing well for Warner Brothers, to the tune of about $100 million. I think a second ago I applied that number to Justice League, and that was incorrect, but the 100 million figure, Justice League's lost shitloads of money for them. There's a Bounding article. What am I doing? Go to the top. Where's the search? The search isn't there, so I'm just going to do it in another window. Bounding, Suicide Squad, million. That's what the figure was. Okay, so let me forget everything I just said a second ago, guys. But so Suicide Squad has lost Warner Brothers $200 million flat, which means that's not impairments. That's just like everything has bombed. The sales are not coming in. The predictions are not seeing it go there. So they're just going, wow, we're down at least $200 million on this piece of shit. Then they had the 41% reduction overall in their video game division revenue, which was, of course, led by Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, yesterday, they came out and they admitted, damn it, wrong article, that MultiVersus has lost them $100 million plus impairments. So not only is that $100 million right off the bat gone because nobody is buying the game, but it's increasing exponentially as time goes on, as these IPs become lesser known, as more and more games come out, as the next console generation approaches. So MultiVersus is, they've squarely, this was the first earnings call this year where instead of Suicide Squad, they actually placed the blame for their struggles on another title. So really, the takeaway from the story is we all know it. I can see you guys all in the chat. We all knew that Warner Brothers was struggling. We're not discovering any Americas here. Nobody's going to go to bed like, oh my God, I didn't know that before. What we are learning though, is that it's every aspect of their game development. It's not just one or two games that fail. There's something broken inside of Warner Brothers games division that leads to spectacular failures like this. And honestly, guys, talking like to get into the game itself, like this result isn't that surprising if you've played MultiVersus. The game is not great. Again, I'm a fighting game player. I love it. I love Smash Brothers. This game tries too hard to differentiate itself from Smash Brothers in its fighting mechanics in such a way that it ends up being just janky and not fun to play. So this is the example I always raise, and it's a very easy comparison. For those of you out there who have played Smash Brothers, you will know that if you want to do a smash attack, you basically just got to do like tap, let's say you want to do a right smash attack, right and A at the same time. If you want it to get stronger, you just hold that button. But it is possible for you to just push it once and your character, let's say Link, he'll do his hard sword swing. In MultiVersus, if you want to do a smash attack on somebody, you have to hold, like it is you can't just push the button for a quick one. You have to hold it for like 2 seconds at the minimum to do like the weak level of your smash attack. You can hold it then to do like more very Smash Brothers-esque, but it's that singular gap of time, that extra second where your thing isn't going through, that it's hard to explain, but if you guys put your hands on the controller and you experienced it, you would know this doesn't feel right. It's not intuitive is what it is. And that goes back to my point where they clearly saw Smash Brothers and went, I don't want to be Smash Brothers, so let's change just enough. But then the changes they did just didn't work with it. Beautiful Joe made their own Super Smash Brothers clone, and they didn't change anything, and it was awesome. Same with Nickelodeon. So MultiVersus just off the bat, really, really not a great. It doesn't feel good to play. I'll admit, at least personally, there are some things about the roster and the presentation that I do like. For example, I like a couple of the alternate costumes. I think that this one of the Powerpuff Girls in Batman masks is adorable. I like the attention to detail because you can sort of see we're fighting here on in the Titan's Tower, but then you see like Jake's in the background playing video games. Red X's mask is hanging out on the ground. So things like Symbiotic Titan is back there in the or like a Symbiotic Titan-esque robot is back there in the on the screen as one of the playable characters. So there's like attention to detail, and it's clear somebody out on the team cares to an extent, but when it comes to being a game, it's just not great. And then that's not even to say anything of the monetization, where this game is free to play, but costumes are mad expensive. Other characters, mad expensive. To the point where, like, I know I'm one of them. Me, a bunch of my friends, people got the game and said, oh, I can only unlock one character, and then for free I can unlock more for free, but it takes like 9 days of playtime to get one, or I can buy it right now. It's such a clear give us money economy over you can, if you wanted to, you can skip time to give us money. You can give us money to skip time, but it's not going to give you too big of an advantage. It's a very badly just put together title. So all in all, it really isn't surprising that this game is failing. It is, and to me, I really don't know. It's not surprising that this game is failing, and it's not surprising that Warner Brothers is imploding, because if this is the level of quality that they put out, after they even took this game down because they recognized it was janky, and then they put it back out in sort of the same state. So all around, I really only wanted to bring this story up because I didn't think MultiVersus of all things would be like the leading cause of, at least now that the Suicide Squad storm has passed, I didn't realize MultiVersus would be that big of a sinkhole for Warner Brothers. And it's just it's impressive. It genuinely is that they made a crossover fighting game with not just like cartoon characters, but you've got like Jason Voorhees, Agent Smith, Arya Stark, which, okay, like that's probably my biggest criticism of this game is I feel like the roster is a little too stupid and a little too Funko Poppy, like, oh, I know them, because it's all Warner Brothers shit. So that's like my main complaint, but that's, no matter what, the nature of a crossover game would have had that happen anyway, right? Like even if they did like a Disney one or a Marvel one, whatever. But yeah, it's genuinely shocking that this game is blowing up that hard for them. All right, let's see. Andrew brings us up, and so he says there's a reason they were quick to say that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is in development right now, because the first one made them bank, and that was basically their only project to do so. And honestly, you're not wrong, or A, you're right, and B, that's probably going to be the next project to make them any money anyway. Like, look at what we're getting. The only game right now here are the only 3 games that we know are being worked on by Warner Brothers right now. Is MultiVersus, with just the constant updating. They're getting Raven and Marceline this month from Teen Titans and Adventure Time, so that's about to hit them. And then just, general maintenance, making sure bugs don't, ruin gameplay and all that sort of fun stuff. So MultiVersus, Hogwarts Legacy 2, and the Wonder Woman game from Monolith Productions that they announced in 2021, and we have not heard a single damn thing about since. Like, yeah, absolutely, they trotted out Hogwarts Legacy for an easy win, because otherwise that division is sunk. It's just completely sunk. Yeah, Volume Dealer says the only thing Warner has got going for them is Penguin. It's really funny you say that, Volume Dealer, because in the earnings call, David Zaslav, the president and CEO of Warner Brothers, he hit that show, like he brought that show up like 5 times. Every time, like anytime he needed to like highlight how well Warner Brothers was doing, or like give an air that they're successful, he would go, and look at the Penguin. Everybody loves the Penguin. Penguin. I was literally saying this on a different stream yesterday. It's because we're on the same wavelength, buddy. We're on the same wavelength. Warner Brothers Discovery needs to curry mega favor with Harry Potter fans with the upcoming reboot series and Hogwarts Legacy, because our fandom will show up and drop money if you give us what we want. I'm gonna break something to you, Andrew. Even if you like the contingent of fans that you represent, which are like, we like the books and the source material, even if you guys didn't get what you wanted, it's gonna make money. People eat Harry Potter up. Like when I talked about earlier this week, there was a news story where Warner Brothers is apparently working to make story connections, like direct story connections between Hogwarts Legacy 2 and the HBO Max series. And in that article, I had this little spiel where I was like, this isn't a Harry Potter reboot or a restart. It's more of a second, like revival. And even revival feels weird to say, because it's like the fandom never went away. It's always been there. You guys are good to go. And so whatever you can slap Harry Potter's name on something and it's going to make bank. It literally, again, just like you can slap Spider-Man's name on anything, on most anything, and it's going to make bank, right? So just be wary about that. Yo, Joe, that's right, baby. Henshin and go. I miss Beautiful Joe so much. I love his character. I love the setting. I love the idea. And it's just sad that, again, we're in the era where can't take risks because anything different and weird is not marketable. And so I don't know if we'll ever see Joe again. I at least am happy that he showed up in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I will take that to the bank and I will be okay with that. Yeah, that's a really good point, Leon. MultiVersus is also mad slippery. If you guys remember Brawl, and you would there was that very controversial mechanic where every so often you would slip. Not only do they have that in this game at like a higher rate, but you do, like, you land on the stage, like you drop down and your momentum will like cause you to like it's ice. It's just not a good feeling game. It just is not fun to play. Reeve, speaking of fighting games, the MVC Collection's physical edition releases on November 2nd. Finally, I have been waiting for that. I've got my copy pre-ordered on the Switch. You guys are going to leave, like, you guys are going to lose me. You're never going to see me again, because now that I have online play for Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and the Punisher arcade game, you guys are out of here. Volume dealers, on the subject of the Penguin, it's not really the Penguin, but it's still really good, better than the movie. So I haven't seen Matt Reeves' Batman. I think I brought that up before, but so I can't speak to that. I will say that even though I haven't seen that movie yet, I haven't watched Penguin, but I want to, because I'm only hearing things about how this is like amazing television. So honestly, like a volume dealer recommendation, guys, that's a high recommendation. That means I will have to take the dive into it, and it will probably be a great setup for the next movie. Didn't even think about that. I hope it's not over yet, right? Like hopefully they have some cool teaser sting. And also, just shout out to Christina Milioti. She is such a babe. I've always had sort of a crush on her ever since she was in 30 Rock and How I Met Your Mother. So good for her. And also just hard, makes it hard to even look at screenshots, if you know what I mean. Controversial, because Liquid asked. Well, I used controversial because nobody likes it. Let's put it that way, right? Nobody liked the slipping mechanic, but I am aware that the range of reaction, like the reactions range from absolutely screw this thing forever, it destroyed the game, this is now the worst, like one of the worst video games I've ever played, to like, it sucks, but it's there, what are you going to do about it? Whatever, we've moved on, we have Smash 4 now. Like, I'm on that lower end of it, so I don't have it in me to get angry about it, but that's why I know nobody likes it. It wasn't good per se. Harry Potter is the Lord and Savior of WB at this point. It's really all they've got right now in terms of fan trust is Harry Potter, because it's the only thing that hasn't been absolutely blown up by them in recent years. DC has been blown up by them in recent years. Lord of the Rings has been blown up by them in recent years. Any other, like Watchmen has been blown up by them in recent years. So they've got nothing. They got nothing. So they really, really, really need to both bank on Harry Potter and get that shit exceptionally right. All right, let's see. With that, I think we're perfectly at the 2.5 hour mark. Before we wrap up, I just want to share one thing, because this is my stream and I get to do these things on my stream, and I get to force you all to appreciate my stupid shit posting. And if my friends are in here, I know you guys already saw it, but I want to bring this up. So, in case you guys didn't see earlier this week, Magic the Gathering finally released its Marvel set. And if you guys remember, last week, when I talked a little bit about the Marvel set, I talked about how Captain America is broken because he is able to just wing his shield at anything and bounce it around, and it is absolutely bonkers. So all of my friends, after some play testing, they were like, do not use Captain America. Like, screw him. Do not. And so I made this meme. I basically just took a bunch of my friends play goblins and slivers, so I was like, this is what I'm going to do to you. Screw Krenko. I'm going to take it out. I do too, Leon. Don't get me wrong. I actually had this conversation with Andrew. Don't get me wrong. I hate it. I also hate like the pricing structure for it. All the sets it was $10 per card for a total of $250. Don't get me wrong. I think it's all fucking stupid. I'm only a man. I still bought them. I'm only a man. And you put Marvel characters on trading cards or like a trading card game specifically, and I'm going to be in for it. So gear up for future bragging or more future discussions about how I use the Captain America card. I know I mentioned this weeks ago, and it is part of the post 52 plans for this channel. I do want to start up a stream that we do. We just do card games. We do openings. We build decks. We talk. We hang out. Very much like this show, but more trading card game focused. So if that ever gets off the ground, you'll definitely see a lot of shield slinging over there. I told you. I admitted it, Leon. I am only a man. And you know what? You know what the other one was? Even if you can't forgive me for buying that set, because it's admittedly like it's Cap, Wolverine, Storm, and Black Panther. The Spider-Man set's coming out next year. And if I bought that set, I would be irritated forever that I didn't have all of the Marvel ones. So this way, at the very least, I'm staving off that. And also now I get to use Captain America, who is the world's most broke-ass leader of all time. Back on the Harry Potter note, before we get out of here, Andrew says, I forgot about Fantastic Beasts. Underperformed, but it still didn't do anything remotely resembling the damage we've seen to other franchises. And I think that's that last bit is the really smart differentiator, because it underperformed, but it was more just a sort of, it was more of a audiences just weren't vibing with it, which is understandable. There were problems with its like the way they handled the narrative and everything. It dragged on a little bit. So that was more of I think audiences are just bored. And yeah, it's not audiences are insulted or angry. It was just like, we're not really interested in this particular chapter of the Harry Potter world, which is fine. And like you said, it at least leaves the door open for other productions to come in and impress. And it hasn't scared all of you guys away, including Joy here, my Joy, who's saying good morning from over in the home Mudland Islands of mine. She's saying hi, but yeah, she's also a Harry Potter fan. So I'm happy for you guys that none of you guys have to go through, or at least you haven't yet had your entire thing blown up to Kingdom Come. I'll give you that. Oh, dude, Leon says I bought the Street Fighter one. I bought the first Transformers one. I have that's the blank side. The Hatsune Miku ones. I have all those ones. I'm just waiting for the fourth one to release before I open them all. I'm only a man, Leon. I'm only a man. House, Wand, Patronus, right now, go. Ravenclaw, the what do you call it? The petrified whale penis, the petrified penis bone of a whale, and I think my Patronus was I think it was a deer. I did the Pottermore thing like forever ago. Maybe I should redo it like this weekend because I have nothing else to do. But that'll get me on there. Yeah, Volume Dealer says there was some really cool stuff about Fantastic Beasts, but it all fell flat. I think I'm right there with you, Volume Dealer. I really liked the idea of the initial premise of like Newt going out and collecting monsters almost in a Pokemon-esque sort of adventure, and learning more about that world and seeing different locations and new characters. I think why it fell flat is it did the Star Wars problem, which is at the end of the day, it still had to bring everything back to Voldemort and the Potters, right? Just like everything has to be about the Skywalkers. So you have this really viable premise, like really fertile premise for a lot of different stories and such, and you kind of just throw it away for the most basic one. I will say I guarantee my Krenko deck is better than your buddy's. I don't know, because it's his Krenko deck. I have played it. I don't know how it stacks up against normal Krenko tech, but here's the thing, Leon. Look, You know what? No, we're pretty much done here anyway. So I'm gonna do this. You look at me right now. I hate my buddy's Krenko deck. I want that thing thrown into the sun. So let's see if there's some way I could get you and him on like a simulator or something, and we can stream it to have that match, because my God, do I need to see that. If you have a better Krenko deck, I wouldn't even be mad. I would be exceptionally happy. Bingo. The stuff with Newt and the Fantastic Beasts should have been an HBO series with a Monster of the Week vibe, and then do 2 or 3 films with the focus on the Dumble. I don't even know if you're going to do the Newt story as a series, you don't need that many movies, man. You barely got 3 movies out of what they had. You could easily wrap that up in 1, 2 if you really wanted to be a corporate executive jackass. And then yes, I'm just a man. Oh, what is that? We are ordinary men. Yeah. Without the Potters, what would happen to houseplants? Caveat: much like Dobby, they would be free men. They would be free elves. Now I need to see a 12 infinite combo Krenko deck. That is absolutely something that is on my bucket list. But guys, before rather than jump right into Magic talk or anything like that, we are at that 2.5 hour mark. This is probably a good point to wrap up tonight's show. I do have a lot of bounding work that I do need to go eventually handle. So with that, I want to wrap up this 50th episode of Good, the Mad, the Ugly by saying thank you to everybody who has been here for this journey, from everybody who is here at the beginning, like Zero and Timon and Joy, to people who are now regulars like Corey and Volume Dealer and Andrew and Leon and Caveat, and I know I'm missing so many people, Trevia, Tehillim. Did I already say Timon? I better have said Timon, because I feel like I always either forget Timon, Volume Dealer, or Shinkai. It's always one of those 3 that I always feel like I forgot. I also forgot to highlight this. Our good boy Dante was in the chat saying, "Rip Tony Todd." I can't believe it. All of these, we're finally in the era where the icons we grew up with are now finally starting to pass on. So rest in peace to the Candyman. I know that Dante is working on an article for Bounding into Comics, so check that out very soon. Dante knows his horror, so he's going to have a good obituary, some good things to say, some good insights, probably some fun facts. Check it out. He's the man. And in case you didn't, because he's here, go check out. He did Dante this past October did one of the most ambitious things I think Bounding's ever done. And he did every day for Halloween, he did a double feature, and he reviewed 2 horror movies, recommended 2 horror movies, usually thematically linked. So if that's up your alley, I know it's not October anymore, but definitely go back and check out the archives on Bounding into Comics. I know he put a lot of work into it, so want to give him that shout out. But yeah, guys, with that, obviously come hang out next week, right here, same Mav time, same Mav channel, for another episode of The Good, the Mad, the Ugly. Again, next week we'll probably still have a lot of the same jank, but then week after that, 52. That's hopefully where we'll get Good Mav Ugly version 2.0. Aside from that, as I mentioned, go check out boundingintocomics.com every day, where we're putting up new news stories. You know, our writers actually know what they're talking about. They actually engage with the material. They're not here to just crusade. So hit them up, give them all your love. Give me some love. Why not? How about that? If you want to see more of me live before next week's show, you can always check me out Wednesday nights at 9, again, daylight savings, 9 p.m. Eastern time, for the 01 show over on the Bounding into Comics YouTube, where I hang out with Cider, Jacob, and Nerdigans, sometimes a guest, and we break down the big pop culture news stories of the week. You can also catch me Thursday nights over on Foil Variant with Andrew, where we break down, we provide you with intellectually honest comic book talk. That's the new tagline I'm trying to get out there. It still needs some work, but you guys can see the foundations of it. So yeah, Thursdays at, when do we go live, Andrew? We like, for the last, because we took a 2-week break 2 weeks ago, neither of us can remember what time we're supposed to start. I think it's Andrew, let me know. Either way, go over to Foil Variant, subscribe there. You'll get the notifications. We go live Thursday evenings. It's a great time. 6 p.m. Central Time. There we go. Thank you so much. now that daylight savings is in play, I'm gonna like forget it even longer. But yeah, come over Thursdays, foil variant, hang out with us to talk all the new comic book news, from new releases to solicits to the actual issues that we've been reading to backstories. It's all great. Last night we had a really long conversation, really long, in-depth, good conversation. I put the emphasis on the word long because Andrew and I didn't even realize that we had gone that long by the time we wrapped. But last night's show was amazing. We broke down X-Men. We broke down Absolute Superman. We broke down Batman. If any of that stuff is up your alley, go check it out. Yes, exactly, Volume Dealer. Go check out Comics Into Bounding. Bound into the Bounding. No, see, that's what I mean, Shinkai. I know. I always know. It's one of you three. I hate it. And like, I feel like I need to put a Post-it note right above my desk or like right above my monitor here that says, remember these three specifically. Because I think it's because all of your icons are in the same like warm color. Like, I know they're not the exact same, but like you've got like the reds and the yellows and the oranges. I think all of that just works together in my mind to blur together. 9 p.m. Brazilian Standard Time. Check that. I always forget you guys are like way jutted out from North America. But yeah, guys, with that, have a great week. Or what am I trying to say here? First off, it's before we officially close out, as always, I have your last call for last minute news tonight. And in honor of the fact that I got to use a Black Lantern Wonder Woman in my thumbnail, which honestly, guys, is pretty much the main reason I highlighted MultiVersus as our main story. It's like, hey, I get to use a Lantern Corps member, a non-Green Lantern Corps member in a thumbnail. Pretty cool. So, in keeping with the sort of lantern theme of this stream, this very loose lantern theme, we have your last call for last minute news tonight comes straight to us from Green Lantern, the animated series. So let's take a look. Hopefully this thing doesn't blow out your eardrums by courtesy of OBS, and I will see you in a minute.
Who are you supposed to be?
I am merely the conduit of the great hope that surrounds us all. I am Saint Walker, and I believe I am the first Blue Lantern in the universe.
Thanks for the power boost. One extra soldier ain't exactly gonna turn the tide.
I agree. That's why I brought a friend.
I am honored to help Green Lantern kill all. Now that's more like it.
Such a good show. If you guys have not watched Green Lantern the animated series yet, go watch it. Even like saying this specifically to like my viewers of the same stripe as Volume Dealer and Timon, who are very, very, very wary of more modern things. You will love this. Like, there's nothing here. I'll even be straight with you. There's not going to be any sort of identity politics nonsense or any of that noise. It is just straight good storytelling. If you love Green Lantern, if you love DC, check it out. Cannot recommend it enough. But yes, guys, with that, now we can finally close out. Have an amazing weekend. Go read something enjoyable. Go play something you like. Go talk to somebody who makes you happy, because you know what? We spend the entire week wading through the dog shit that is current entertainment. So we got to remember that life's not all that bad. So with that, in brightest day, in blackest night, it's time for Mav to say goodnight.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought you brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him like burned and
I don't even know who that guy is.